Smoking Uncle was expected to retort, but he instead fell silent, a thoughtful expression on his face. As for the main attack mission, my fleet will be responsible for it. Your two fleets will each be responsible for attracting and holding back two groups of mechanical ray star fleets, while Shin Bing's T2 starship will cover the fleet formation and provide support to the battlefield when necessary. Zhao Chen stated his idea. Won't this be a bit too risky? The leather jacket woman asked worriedly. Smoking Uncle, however, stared directly at Zhao Chen. Kid, how confident are you? If your two fleets don't mess up and can delay them for at least half an hour, then I'll be 100% confident. The shorter the time, the lower the chances of victory, Zhao Chen said. Half an hour, Smoking Uncle muttered, and then he straightforwardly said, all right, we'll go with your plan. Zhao Chen was surprised. The uncle actually agreed. However, this made Zhao Chen feel much more relaxed, saving him the trouble of arguing. Although Zhao Chen had a way to deal with this mechanical ray star fleet, even without the help of these two fleets, the interstellar transport ship fleet might have to pay a considerable price. Then his mission would not be worth the effort. That's right. Just when the mechanical ray star fleet appeared, the system issued a mission to Zhao Chen. It was also because of this mission that Zhao Chen formulated such a tactical plan focused on protecting the Starfleet. Mission content: escort interstellar transport ship fleet. Mission difficulty: B class. Mission reward: 20 mission points and 5,000 credits. Additional mission: preserve as many T1 interstellar transport ships as possible, 300. Mission penalty: deduct 5,000 credits. There was an additional mission to preserve 300 T1 interstellar transport ships, which likely meant the more T1 interstellar transport ships survived, the more rewards there would be. After allocating the combat missions, Zhao Chen's side also began preparing to hunt his first prey. Secretary Lilith had already prepared the relevant data pages next to him. One main data page and two subdata pages. The main data page was for the Owl Dragon Fleet's battlefield. The other two subdata pages were for the Leather Jacket Woman's and Smoking Uncle's fleet battlefields, recording their respective fleet starships and the opponents they would face. According to the data retrieved from the database, the enemy's 30 interstellar warship consist of 21 T2 mechanical Sentry-class medium interstellar frigates, 6 T2 mechanical Hound-class medium interstellar destroyers, 3 T2 Wolverine-class medium interstellar cruisers. Lilith quickly pulled up the data for these three starships. There were also image data and holographic projections of the three starships. All three starships adopted a strong mechanical style, with their hulls entirely painted in black iron, a unique style of mechanical race interstellar warship. They were very rugged, devoid of any artistic style. Everything was for higher efficiency. That means we will be dealing with 7 T2 mechanical Sentry-class medium interstellar frigates, 2 T2 mechanical Hound-class medium interstellar destroyers, and 1 T2 Wolverine-class medium interstellar cruiser. Zhao Chen stared intently at his battlefield. His side had 1 T2B Queen-class heavy carrier starship and 5 T2 Black Rhino-class interstellar heavy assault frigates, 6 T2 starships vs 10 T2 starships. They were at a numerical disadvantage. Zhao Chen pondered for a moment, then decisively gave the order. T2 Queen B, move out of the interstellar transport ship fleet formation and form a triangular combat formation with the 5 T2 Black Rhinos. Understood. Lilith immediately relayed the order. The T2 Queen B moved out of the interstellar transport ship fleet formation. This action was noticed by the fleet commanders on the other two battlefields. My God, this kid actually moved his aircraft carrier starship out. Doesn't he know that an aircraft carrier starship should be as far away from the battlefield as possible? Among the interstellar transport ships, at least there could be more cover, Smoking Uncle grumbled. The leather jacket woman stared at the star map, her expression grim. T2 Hyena-class medium interstellar destroyer, bridge. Shin Bing stood at the front of the captain's chair. Due to the insufficient bridge crew, she had to take on 3 roles herself, so she naturally couldn't sit in the captain's chair as leisurely as Zhao Chen. Lu Lily exclaimed beside her, Student Zhao Chen, why did he move the aircraft carrier starship out? The enemy will definitely attack his aircraft carrier starship first. Then she whispered, speaking of which, I haven't figured it out these past few days. Where did he get this aircraft carrier starship? I've never heard of him having such an aircraft carrier starship at the academy before. During this escort mission, the aircraft carrier starship that Zhao Chen possessed surprised the crew on Shunbing's starship, and they were all curious about where Zhao Chen had acquired this aircraft carrier starship. Shunbing stared at the cursor representing Zhao Chen's aircraft carrier starship on the starship radar and said seriously, Zhao Chen wants to lure the enemy deeper. His advantage lies in that T2 Black Rhino. I've watched his combat video from the academy. The advantage of this T2 Black Rhino is its terrifying hull armor strength, but its firepower configuration is lacking. If it keeps chasing enemy starships, it can easily be kited by the enemy. Now, using that T2 carrier starship as bait, the enemy's interstellar warship will surely swarm in to attack. And once the enemy starships close in, the T2 Black Rhino can utilize its short-range close-quarters combat ability. Lu Lily covered her mouth. This is too crazy. Using his own flagship and an aircraft carrier starship as bait. What if, on the battlefield, one must take some risks and pay some price? Shunbing clenched her fist. This was something she had just learned. As expected, the 10 mechanical race interstellar warship immediately accelerated after discovering the enemy's aircraft carrier starship. Their target directly aimed at that T2 carrier starship. T2B Queen-class heavy carrier starship, bridge. Zhao Chen raised his hand, pointing at the cursor representing the T2 Wolverine-class medium interstellar cruiser. When I give the order, we'll eliminate this interstellar cruiser first. Its speed is faster than an interstellar frigate, and its firepower is stronger than an interstellar frigate, so we cannot let it live. The captains of the 5 T2 Black Rhinos were all waiting for the commander's order at this moment, just like 5 leashed beasts. And the mechanical race interstellar warship on the opposite side were completely unaware of what they were about to face. Soon, both fleets entered firing range, and the mechanical race interstellar warship opened fire first. The 5 T2 Black Rhinos at this moment were like ordinary interstellar frigates, forming a defensive line in front of the T2 Queen Bee, with their CIWS constantly intercepting the enemy's attacks. Soon, the hulls of the 5 T2 Black Rhinos were hit. However, a single laser main cannon shot from the T2 Wolverine-class medium interstellar cruiser only left a scar a few tens of centimeters long on the T2 Black Rhino's hull armor. Attack! Zhao Chen's deep voice echoed in the ears of the 5 T2 Black Rhino bridge captains. At the same time, the 5 beasts charged towards the enemy starships, braving their gunfire. What the hell is that kid doing? He's actually letting his interstellar frigate abandon the aircraft carrier starship's defense and choose to attack. The cigarette in Smoking Uncle's mouth fell to the ground as he watched the 5 light dots rush out on the starship radar, spitting saliva. But soon, he realized something was wrong. The speed of the 5 light dots on the starship radar suddenly increased, much faster than before, and the 5 light dots, in a crescent shape, rushed towards that T2 Wolverine-class medium interstellar cruiser. What on earth does this kid want to do? Smoking Uncle kept scratching his head, picking up the fallen cigarette from the ground, and preparing to put it back in his mouth. He originally thought that this rich kid's tactical approach was to use the aircraft carrier starship combat system, protecting the T2 carrier starship with 5 T2 interstellar frigates. Then, he would let the interstellar drone swarm continuously bombard and harass the enemy starship, ultimately achieving victory. But as soon as they started, that aircraft carrier starship seemed to instantly become an unwanted child, with not a single interstellar frigate around it. Isn't this crazy? And very quickly, he saw an even more terrifying scene. The light dots of those 5 T2 interstellar frigates actually overlapped with the light dot of Mechanical Race's T2 Wolverine-class medium interstellar cruiser. That's right, they overlapped. Immediately bring up the deep space telescope footage for me. Smoking Uncle immediately demanded his subordinates to adjust the battlefield footage for him. Boss, we we're still fighting here. The adjutant pointed to their battlefield. My orders have already been given. It's fine to delay for another half an hour, isn't it? Don't give me any crap. Quickly adjust the footage. Smoking Uncle went up and kicked the adjutant. Soon, the deep space telescope footage was transmitted back. Smoking Uncle's expression was blank, and he didn't even react to the cigarette in his hand burning down to his fingers until the pain swept through his nerves. Holy crap! Smoking Uncle threw away the cigarette, but in his hand, his eyes fixed on the screen. In the footage, 5 T-2 interstellar frigates, like 5 battle spears, pierced into the hull of that T-2 Wolverine-class medium interstellar cruiser. That's right, they pierced into the T-2 Wolverine's hull. And it was obvious that these 5 T-2 interstellar frigates were still accelerating. Because from the 5 impact points, cracks began to extend from the T-2 Wolverine's hull, and even the compartments beneath the cracks could be clearly seen. The cracks gradually spread throughout the entire hull. This scene clearly caught the other mechanical race interstellar warship off guard. They could only use a few high-precision weapons to attack these 5 interstellar frigates, fearing they would accidentally damage their own starships. However, the hull armor of these interstellar frigates was truly unimaginable. Their weapons could only leave insignificant wounds on the hull. This stalemate lasted for about 2 minutes. Then, the entire T-2 Wolverine-class medium interstellar cruiser shattered. That's right, it shattered. The cracks that extended from the 5 impact points completely broke apart, becoming pieces of starship wreckage. It also became the first starship to fall in this interstellar battle, and it fell in such a unique way. Holy crap, starships can be played like this. Smoking Uncle was dumbfounded. What kind of interstellar frigate was this? It was actually playing dismemberment? After the 5 T-2 Black Rhino-class interstellar heavy assault frigates completed their first hunting objective, they began to search for their next target. A T-2 mechanical dog-class medium interstellar destroyer. The targeted T-2 mechanical dog tried to pull away, but the 5 T-2 Black Rhinos suddenly accelerated, pouncing like 5 bloodthirsty beasts. No matter how this T-2 mechanical dog struggled, it was useless. In fact, the more it struggled, the more vigorously the 5 T-2 Black Rhinos attacked. There was even a terrifying scene. 4 T-2 Black Rhinos seized the opportunity to precisely use their large black horns to pin down the enemy starship's hull from 4 directions, fixing the T-2 mechanical dog. The remaining T-2 Black Rhino aimed at the T-2 mechanical dog's weakest point and launched repeated impacts. That large black horn continuously pierced through the hull armor at the rear of the T-2 mechanical dog. During this time, the T-2B Queen-class heavy carrier starships interstellar drones were not idle either, launching wave after wave of attacks against the T-2 mechanical guard-class medium interstellar frigates. And these mechanical race interstellar warship were clearly confused by the opponent's weird interstellar frigates. But soon, they made a new combat deployment. Since your interstellar frigates are so durable, then I'll ignore your interstellar frigates for now. Wouldn't it be fine to besiege your aircraft carrier starship instead? The remaining mechanical race interstellar warship immediately disregarded their friendly starship being bullied by the T-2 Black Rhinos and charged directly towards the T-2 Queen B. T-2B Queen-class heavy carrier starship, bridge. Report, the enemy starship's 6 T-2 mechanical guard-class medium interstellar frigates and 1 T-2 mechanical dog-class medium interstellar destroyer's weapon systems have locked onto our starship, a crew member reported. The B-Queen begins moving at full speed, ensuring that all these starships are on one side of our hull. At the same time, prepare to raise our star shield. Zhao Chen said. His T-2 Queen B dared to stay here alone, but it had its reliance. Through the deep space telescope footage, Smoking Uncle saw that the main cannons and secondary cannons of those 6 mechanical race interstellar warship were all aimed at the T-2 Queen B. At this moment, his heart was in his throat. Although an aircraft carrier starship's hull is relatively durable, it couldn't withstand the continuous attacks of 6 enemy starships. Could it? Report. That woman has fled with her fleet. The adjutant suddenly reported a piece of news. Smoking Uncle frowned, and looked at the starship radar. The leather jacket woman's fleet, which was originally responsible for resisting another group of 10 mechanical race interstellar warship, now actually made a detour and turned around and fled, completely disregarding the 10 mechanical race interstellar warship behind her. That slut, Smoking Uncle cursed, and although he hated her shameless actions, there was nothing he could do at the moment but watch her fleet escape. However, half of her starships were caught up by the T2 mechanical race starships behind them, and because they hadn't set up their battle formation, it was only a matter of time before they were annihilated. Regarding her friendly starships being caught, the leather jacket woman's flagship didn't hesitate at all, fleeing directly into the depths of the universe. Meanwhile, in another part of the battlefield seen through the Deep Space Telescope, the main cannons of those 6 mechanical race interstellar warship had finished aiming and fired one after another. Beams of laser shot towards that aircraft carrier starship. Smoking Uncle couldn't bear to watch, taking a deep drag from his cigarette and averting his gaze. It seemed that their escort mission this time was fraught with peril. He, as a lone wolf, didn't care, but he felt sorry for his brothers and his fleet who had gone through life and death with him. Holy crap. Boss, look, it's the Star Shield. Kid, these are all T2 starships. Where would a Star Shield come from? The Smoking Uncle rolled his eyes at him. Where would a T2 starship get Star Shield? A Star Shield is a standard technology for T3 starships. The adjutant urgently said, "It really is a Star Shield. That T2 carrier starship really has a Star Shield. Boss, see for yourself. I'm really not lying to you. I think you're about to die and are hallucinating. If a T2 starship had a Star Shield, I'd eat the starship. Eat it." The Smoking Uncle impatiently looked at the screen, but his expression froze at that moment. 5 seconds. 10 seconds. The adjutant looked at his boss, who seemed to have been paused, and called out, "Boss! Boss! Boss!" The Smoking Uncle stared intently at the translucent energy shield that was blocking one side of the T2 carrier starship on the screen. That was clearly the Star Shield possessed by T3 starships. It really is a damn Star Shield. The Smoking Uncle rubbed his eyes, still unwilling to believe what he was seeing. But the screen wouldn't lie, and the Star Shield was already performing its function. The mechanical race's interstellar warship, firepower rained down on the Star Shield, like raindrops, all blocked by the Star Shield, forming ripples on its surface. Is that a T3 aircraft carrier starship? The Smoking Uncle frowned, but even the smallest T3 light aircraft carrier starship would be over a kilometer in size. How could there be a T3 aircraft carrier starship less than 500 meters long? But that Star Shield couldn't be explained. The Smoking Uncle kept scratching his head. This really was a strange, noble young master. That interstellar frigate was strange enough, directly ramming ships without regard for its own life, and its own hull remained undamaged. Now, this aircraft carrier starship was even more incredible, directly bringing out the Star Shield technology that only T3 technology possessed. Damn it, if I can't figure it out, I won't, the Smoking Uncle muttered irritably, but a smile soon appeared on his face. It looks like that noble kid's tactics might actually succeed now. But boss, our situation here doesn't seem too good, the adjutant said with a troubled expression, looking at the battle on the starship radar. The Smoking Uncle frowned. What, can't my starships even hold out for half an hour? Although the mechanical race's starships were of high quality, as long as they maintained their formation, it should be possible to hold out for half an hour with minimal casualties. It's that mechanical race fleet that the leather jacket woman's fleet was responsible for. They're almost done wiping out the remnants of the fleet that smelly woman abandoned. Once all those starships are destroyed, that mechanical race starship will definitely pose a threat to us. We're already struggling against one mechanical race starship if we have to face another mechanical race fleet at the same time. The adjutant hesitated. The Smoking Uncle showed a thoughtful expression. This was indeed a difficult problem. No matter what, we'll take it one step at a time. If we run away like that woman, we won't be able to survive in the Starlight Empire. Executing an imperial military mission and becoming a deserter, The price for that is being wanted by the entire Galactic Alliance. The smoking uncle was annoyed whenever he mentioned that bitch. According to the noble kid's fleet strength, plus that woman's fleet, as long as they cooperated in battle, there was a complete possibility of victory. That bitch actually ran away without even assessing the situation. Stupid. Oof, oof, oof. A T-2 interstellar battleship has appeared in that combat direction. The adjutant suddenly pointed at a moving light spot on the starship radar and exclaimed. The smoking uncle looked closely and said in surprise, "It's that student girl's starship." These young people really are full of surprises. Shen Bing's T-2 Hyena-class medium interstellar destroyer, like a lone wolf, stood between the interstellar transport ship fleet and the mechanical race interstellar warship that had annihilated the remnants of the leather jacket woman's fleet. The remnants of the leather jacket woman's fleet, having not prepared effectively at the start of the battle, became even more chaotic after being attacked by the mechanical race starship, like headless flies. 6 starships were completely annihilated, becoming starship wreckage drifting in the universe. And those 10 mechanical race interstellar warship, apart from some damage to their hulls, none were lost. After eliminating their current prey, the 10 mechanical race interstellar warship locked their target onto the T-2 Hyena, blocking their path. "Captain, they're coming over," Lu Lily reported nervously. Shen Bing took a deep breath, her gaze fixed on the 10 mechanical race starships on the screen. "For the greater good, we must do everything we can. All hands, prepare for battle." Understood. The crew members on the starship were nervous, but they still braced themselves for battle. Most of the crew members Shen Bing recruited were actually ordinary people with some starship piloting skills, who might have only operated T-1 civilian starships in the past. They chose to join Shen Bing's starship after she offered favorable conditions. There were also commoner students from North Star Starship Military Academy, like Lu Lily. Maintain high-speed maneuverability. Prepare main and secondary cannons. Shen Bing issued the combat order. She began to command her T-2 Hyena to join the battle. Shen Bing did not blindly rush her starship into the fray. She didn't have the ability to take on 10 by herself. What she had to do was delay as long as possible. So she constantly kept her starship within a certain safe range, able to deliver a certain amount of firepower harassment to the enemy ships and attract the enemy fleet's attention. This was like dancing on a tightrope. A slight misstep could lead to falling into the abyss. Initially, Shen Bing's T-2 Hyena could barely hold on, but soon the mechanical race's 10 interstellar warship gradually formed a crescent-shaped encirclement. At the same time, the attacks from their main and secondary cannons gradually began to land on the T-2 Hyena's hull. Report: our ship's port side hull armor has been shelled, hull armor strength remaining 90%. Report: our ship's front hull armor has been attacked, hull armor strength remaining 85%. Report: all the soldiers on the bridge could feel the starship shaking violently, and they could hear the painful groans coming from the hull. Suddenly, an even louder sound came, and the entire bridge shook violently several times. Some crew members lost their balance and fell to the ground, getting quite disoriented. Report: our ship's port side hull armor has been hit by an enemy main cannon. Localized hull armor is severely damaged. Adjacent compartments have begun evacuating crew. Seal off compartments. Shen Bing's expression was grave, and her forehead was covered in sweat. At this moment, her T-2 Hyena's overall hull armor strength was nearly 50% damaged. Moreover, the enemy ships were getting closer and closer to her starship, which meant the upcoming attacks would be even more ferocious. Her starship's destruction was only a matter of time. Could it be she was really going to die here? For the first time, Shen Bing felt a deep sense of helplessness. The strong-willed her actually longed to confide in others, to have someone protect her. She couldn't help but recall the starship duel incident between Zhao Wanner and the Heaven's Glory Academy students at North Star Starship Military Academy. Zhao Wanner had a brother who stood up for her and helped her resolve the issue. She also wished so much that she could have such a brother, like a safe harbor. Report: detecting 3 enemy starships main cannons have locked onto our starship, unable to evade enemy attacks. Lu Lily exclaimed, looking at the flashing red lights on the control panel. Shen Bing closed her eyes in despair. I'm sorry, Grandma. Little Bing Bing might have to break her promise this time. A few seconds later, the imagined explosion and the loud bang after being hit by the hull did not appear. Instead, Lu Lily's surprised voice came from beside her ear. It's student Zhao Chen's aircraft carrier starship. Shen Bing opened her eyes, and through the images collected by the hull, she could see a T-2 carrier starship positioned above her T-2 hyena. At the same time, a translucent star shield blocked the front of the two starships. The mechanical race Interstellar warship attack only left a few ripples on the star shield. Then, 5 T-2 Black Rhino-class Interstellar heavy assault frigates leaped out, enduring the enemy mechanical starship's artillery fire, and charged straight forward. Beep, 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 beep. At this moment, Shen Bing's handheld terminal vibrated a few times, and she tapped to open it. It was a message sent by Zhao Chen. He told her starship to withdraw from the battlefield first, leaving this side to him, and finally reminded her if her communication system was broken. Is our communication system broken? Shen Bing checked the communication system, and indeed, due to the continuous shelling just now, the communication system was currently in a faulty state. Even the starship radar system had problems. No wonder she hadn't received any alerts about Zhao Chen's fleet support. Hoo-hoo-hoo. Shen Bing, you scare me to death. You scare me to death. I thought I was going to die just now. I haven't even had a boyfriend yet. Lu Lily suddenly started crying. Her previously tense nerves finally relaxed at this moment. Shen Bing looked at Lu Lily and the other crew members on the bridge who seemed reborn, and a faint smile appeared on her usually cold face. She looked up at the aircraft carrier starship, which appeared like a barrier above her starship in the display. An indescribable sense of security filled her heart. It's only been less than 20 minutes, and Zhao Chen's battle is already over. Shen Bing curiously used a deep space telescope to check the situation on the other battlefield, which Zhao Chen's fleet was responsible for. She saw an astonishing scene. In that cosmic battlefield, scattered starship wreckage could be seen, some shattered into pieces, some split in half, and some were lucky enough to retain the entire main frame of the hull. But the hull armor was covered in bomb marks, riddled with holes. None of the 10 mechanical race T-2 interstellar warships survived. All were annihilated. What terrifying combat power this was, with just 1 T-2 carrier starship and 5 T-2 interstellar frigates. After all, who has ever seen a T-2 carrier starship with a star shield? A T-2 interstellar frigate that dares to directly confront an interstellar battlecruiser? Where did Zhao Chen get these monster starships from? Shen Bing couldn't help but mutter at this moment. From the earlier Blizzard Zero, which could reach 100 knots of star speed and was equipped with 1,200 millimeters giant cannons. Then to the T-2 Black Rhino, which became famous in the North Star Starship Military Academy by single-handedly challenging an interstellar battlecruiser of the same class. And now, this T-2 carrier starship with a star shield, whose name and model are unknown. This man, it seems he is no longer that noble young master who only studied for 3 years. Perhaps because he was familiar with the mechanical race interstellar warship combat style. Zhao Chen spent less than 10 minutes in this wave to annihilate all 10 of these mechanical race interstellar warship. Shen Bing, who witnessed all of this, and the crew members on Shen Bing's bridge were all dumbfounded. It was too shocking. Report, the second wave of mechanical race interstellar warship has been eliminated. The T-2 Queen Bee has consumed 67% of its ammunition and supplies, and the number of lost interstellar drones exceeds 30%. Starshield energy remaining 41%, no damage to the hull. Secretary Lilith promptly reported the fleet's situation from the side, after reporting the T-2 Queen Bee situation. She then brought up the status of the 5 T-2 Black Rhinos. Zhao Chen glanced at them. After 2 battles, although the 5 T-2 Black Rhinos had some damage on their hulls, they were not significantly affected. The most severely damaged one only had its overall hull armor damage reach 37%, with the most severe location just over 50%. Coupled with the fact that interstellar frigates have the lowest combat consumption rate, each T2 Black Rhino still had over 70% of its ammunition and supplies. It was more than enough to deal with the remaining mechanical race interstellar warship. It seems we have a sure victory in this battle. Zhao Chen let out a long breath. Hey, little brother, you've taken care of your little sweetheart side. Don't forget about your big brother's side. Your big brother here has already lost 2 starships, and I really can't hold on anymore. A mechanical race interstellar warship are already threatening the interstellar transport ship fleet. Smoking Uncle's voice rang out at this moment. In the communication video window, Smoking Uncle's previously harsh attitude had completely changed, as if he and Zhao Chen were old friends of many years. Uncle, I won't forget about your side, Zhao Chen replied with a smile. Although this Smoking Uncle had a bit of a bad temper, he was still a good person. At least in this battle, he did his duty. In contrast, the leather jacket woman who had previously wanted to have something happen with Zhao Chen fled in panic when the battle began. Smoking Uncle gave a simple smile and gave Zhao Chen a thumbs up. I misjudged you before, Uncle. You're the best. Awesome. When we go back, Big Brother will treat you to a drink. Zhao Chen smiled and said nothing, beginning to check the current battlefield situation, mainly the starship icons on the data panel. More than 2/3 of the 30 T2 mechanical race interstellar warship were dimmed, meaning they had been destroyed. 2 of Uncle's fleet also turned black. The rest were red, which represented the degree and location of hull damage. Intact starships were blue icons. Except for Zhao Chen's T2 Queen Bee, there are almost no intact starships left. 20 mechanical race, T2 mechanical race interstellar warship were all annihilated by Zhao Chen's fleet. Uncle's fleet severely damaged 1 T2 mechanical guard class medium interstellar frigate and 1 T2 mechanical dog class medium interstellar destroyer. At the same time, Uncle's fleet also paid the price of losing 2 T1 starships, with 2 more T1 starships severely damaged, and 1 T2 Grey Wolf class light star cruiser severely damaged. It can be said that this Uncle's fleet suffered considerable losses in this battle mission, and some mechanical race interstellar warship also broke through Uncle's fleet's blockade, directly attacking the interstellar transport ship fleet. Currently, 12 T1 interstellar transport ships have been destroyed. This also caused some changes in Zhao Chen's mission data. Additional mission: preserve as many T1 interstellar transport ships as possible, 288/300. Support Uncle's battlefield, and end this battle as soon as possible. Zhao Chen issued the combat order for the 3rd battle of this campaign. The resupplied interstellar drone swarm was deployed again, ready to enter another battle, to encircle and annihilate the remaining 10 mechanical race interstellar warship. Eliminating this mechanical race starfleet was much simpler than the previous wave, as some of the mechanical race starships were severely damaged and could not withstand the T2 Black Rhino and interstellar drones. In a short while, only 7 of the 10 mechanical race starships remained. But just then, a red cursor, larger than the previous signal, appeared on Zhao Chen's T2 Queen Bee starship radar. Report: a T3 starship energy signal detected. It is heading towards our direction, and at its current speed, it will enter the threat range in 5 minutes. Zhao Chen's heart sank. This was the mechanical race's T3 starship. The appearance of this T3 interstellar warship of the mechanical race disrupted all of Zhao Chen's original arrangements. Little bro, Smoking Uncle sent a communication, also looking nervous at this moment. Uncle, you continue handling things here. I'll take care of the T3 starship over there, Zhao Chen said in a deep voice. Smoking Uncle thought for a moment and nodded. All right, I'll leave it to you. Smoking Uncle did not ask Zhao Chen to support his own battlefield. Compared to the remaining 7 mechanical race starships on his side, half of them had already sustained hull damage, reducing their combat effectiveness. Obviously, the threat of a single T3 interstellar warship was far greater. and he could still stall for a bit longer on his end. Boss, this T3 interstellar warship, can that noble young master handle it? The adjutant asked cautiously. Smoking Uncle took a deep drag of his cigarette and exhaled a smoke ring. Report, the database has identified the model of that T3 interstellar warship. It is the mechanical race's T3 Black Iron-class medium star destroyer, the subordinate reported. T3 Black Iron. Although it's just an interstellar destroyer, it's still a T3 starship after all. Smoking Uncle said gravely. T2 Queen Bee class heavy carrier starship, bridge. Zhao Chen also received the enemy ship's data intelligence. T3 Black Iron, an interstellar destroyer in the mechanical race's T3 series starships, is the most common ship type at the T3 level. Length 700 meters, main weapon equipped with a T3 level medium pulse laser cannon. Medium speed, hull armor strength is not as good as the T2 Black Rhino, but it has a star shield. Zhao Chen's expression was serious. Now, look at the cards in Zhao Chen's hand. 1 T2 Queen Bee and 5 T2 Black Rhinos. 6 T2 starships against 1 T3 starship. Although in the history of starship combat, there have been records of T2 starships destroying T3 starships, those were often very rare possibilities or cases of picking off stragglers on large battlefields. Under normal circumstances, let alone 6 T2 starships, even 10, 20, might not necessarily be a match for 1 T3 starship. Running is not an option. We have to give it a try. A thought arose in Zhao Chen's mind. A very crazy idea, very risky. But with no other choice, Zhao Chen had Lilith convey his combat plan. The captains of the 5 T2 Black Rhinos received the orders and began combat deployment. To deal with a T3 starship, we must fight quickly. If we get dragged out, our T2 starships will only be picked off one by one. Zhao Chen said in a deep voice. Report, the enemy T3 Black Iron has entered the threat range. In 2 minutes, it will enter firing range and can attack our T2 Queen Bee, the subordinate reported. Execute, Zhao Chen gave the order. The 5 T2 Black Rhinos immediately set off. The armor strength of the T2 Black Rhino class is very high, but if facing the main gun of a T3 level starship, it can't withstand many hits. The gap in technology levels is quite large, and the advantage of the T2 Black Rhino is close quarters brawling, but the enemy T3 starship's main gun might not give them the chance to get close. Shinbing was at the rear, closely watching the battlefield. She saw the 5 T2 Black Rhino's sortie, her expression serious. Zhao Chen's battle directly affected their survival. Can they really not win? Lu Lily asked worriedly. Shinbing closed her eyes and began simulating combat plans in her mind. No, this one won't work either. This one still won't work. What to do? What exactly must be done to win? Is it truly impossible for a T2 starship to defeat a T3 starship? Suddenly, a crazy idea flashed in Shinbing's mind. She immediately edited her thoughts into a message and sent it to Zhao Chen. He replied quickly. 2 words. Thank you. Shinbing was stunned. How could this reply be so perfunctory? Look, the 5 T2 Black Rhinos have formed a strange linear battle formation. Lu Lily suddenly said. Shinbing looked at the screen. The 5 T2 Black Rhinos had formed a 5 stars in a row battle formation heading toward the T3 Black Iron-class medium star destroyer. Just then, the T3 Black Iron's medium pulse laser cannon fired, shooting a pulse laser. Laser weapons are mainly divided into 2 types, continuous beam lasers and pulse lasers. Of course, besides these 2 main categories, there are some subcategories. A pulse laser, after a brief energy accumulation, emits a laser beam to attack the enemy. It has short range, medium damage, but fast firing rate and short firing interval. A continuous beam laser requires a long energy accumulation, then emits a continuous beam laser to persistently attack the enemy ship. It has longer range, high damage, slow firing rate, and a longer interval compared to pulse lasers. The former is more numerous and mainly equipped on interstellar frigates, interstellar destroyers, and interstellar cruisers. The latter has great power and is mainly equipped on interstellar battlecruisers and interstellar battleships, targeting stronger starships in the enemy fleet, such as flagships and core starships. It has excellent destructive capability against energy defenses like star shields. Although the T3 Black Iron is only equipped with a pulse laser main gun, it is still T3 level. At that moment, a pulse laser struck the first T2 Black Rhino in the formation. T2 Black Rhino class Interstellar Heavy Assault Frigate No. 1 bridge. Report: the frontal armor strength of the hull has suffered a total damage of 50%. Report: the frontal armor strength of the port side has suffered a total damage of 65%. Report: 3 close-in weapon systems have been destroyed. The captain of ship No. 1, seeing that they had successfully weathered this attack, breathed a sigh of relief and gave the order, "Move out of position." Yes. Then, the T2 Black Rhino No. 1 vacated its position and retreated to the very back of the 5-ship line. After that, the second T2 Black Rhino took the frontmost position. "He thought of it too," Shen Bing exclaimed in surprise. "Thought of what?" Lu Lily asked curiously beside her. Shen Bing said seriously, "I just said that although the T2 Black Rhino's armor strength is high, it might not withstand several rounds of attack from the T3 Black Iron class medium Star Destroyer. But if the 5 T2 Black Rhinos can form a line, always keeping only one T2 Black Rhino at the front to withstand the T3 Black Iron's attacks, then perhaps, with the rotation of the 5 T2 Black Rhinos, they can get close to the T3 Black Iron. Although the T3 Black Iron has a star shield, it is only a unidirectional range shield, not a full-range protection for the T3 Black Iron class. As long as the 5 T2 Black Rhinos attack from different directions, even with the star shield, it cannot defend against all sides. I was about to tell Zhao Chen my idea, but it seems he thought of this somewhat crazy tactic before I did, and he's already implementing it." Thinking of this, Shen Bing was even more amazed by this former classmate who used to just study. Should she say he has changed too much, or that he hid too deeply during the 3 years at the academy? Does that mean we have hope? Lu Lily asked happily. Shen Bing, however, said in a deep voice, "But there's a problem with this plan." "What?" Lu Lily asked, blinking. "Insufficient firepower. The T2 Black Rhino's firepower is severely lacking, while its ramming tactics are very effective against T2 starships. How long would it take to damage the hull armor of that T3 Black Iron-class medium Star Destroyer when facing a T3-level starship? During that time, the T2 Black Rhinos might be annihilated one by the T3 Black Iron." Shen Bing clenched her fists. "Then, what should we do?" Lu Lily panicked again. Shen Bing stared at the video screen, waiting for Commander Zhao Chen's arrangements. Since Commander Zhao Chen dared to do this, he must have a backup plan. T2 Queen Bee class heavy aircraft carrier starship. Report: 5 T2 Black Rhinos have reached the effective range for short-range assault. Although the hulls of the 5 T2 Black Rhinos have varying degrees of damage, it does not affect their overall combat effectiveness. Lilith reported. Execute the second phase of the combat plan. Commander Zhao Chen said sternly. Understood, Commander's order. Execute the second phase of the combat plan. Lilith relayed Commander Zhao Chen's order. On the battlefield, 5 T2 Black Rhinos began to accelerate almost simultaneously. Although their respective hull armor was already riddled with scars, and even had cracks tens of meters long, it did not affect their speed in the slightest. The 5 T2 Black Rhinos formed a semi-encirclement, beginning to attack the T3 Black Iron. The 50 T2 class 300mm heavy close-in weapon systems equipped on each T2 Black Rhino began to unleash their firepower in unison. Had it been an ordinary T2 starship, it might have already been riddled with holes. But unfortunately, this was a T3-level starship. The star shield deployed, blocking the attack from one direction. Attacks from other directions landed on the T3 Black Iron's hull armor, which began to show a rain of bullet marks. Although numerous, their lethality was truly minimal. Prepare to ram. The captain of T2 Black Rhino No. 1 ship was the first to give the order. The speed increased once again, and the large black horn heavily impacted the T3 Black Iron's hull armor. However, the penetrating wound seen on T2 starships did not appear. It was merely a small laceration. This shows that the hull armor of a T3 starship is not on the same level as a T2 starship. The other T2 Black Rhinos also began ramming. At the same time, the T3 Black Iron secondary cannons began to return fire, and its recharge pulse laser main cannon also aimed at these close-range enemy ships. A large hole was directly blasted through the front armor of one T2 Black Rhino. Fortunately, the T2 Black Rhino's hull armor was sturdy enough. Otherwise, it would not have been as simple as just a large hole. However, in this situation, it couldn't withstand many more hits. The problem of insufficient firepower has been exposed. Shin Bing bit her red lips, her worried feelings rising again. Facing this situation, Commander Zhao Chen's expression remained unchanged. Initiate the third phase of the combat plan. Commander Zhao Chen said. Understood. Initiate the third phase of the combat plan. Lilith began to relay the order. The order was relayed. An astonishing scene appeared. Several compartments in the belly of the 5 T2 Black Rhinos that were ramming opened, and small objects were deployed. They are interstellar drones. Shin Bing recognized these deployed small objects at first glance. They were none other than the T2 Queen Bee's interstellar drones. There were a total of more than 50 T2 Killer B-class medium interstellar drones and 15 T2 Bumblebee-class heavy interstellar drones. The 5 T2 Black Rhinos that were ramming stopped, instead using their close-in weapon systems to suppress the T3 Black Iron-class medium star destroyers' close-in weapon system firepower. Under the firepower cover of the T2 Black Rhinos, the T2 Bumblebee-class heavy interstellar drones aimed at one of the largest hull damage points created by the T2 Black Rhinos ramming and dropped their bombs. Boom, 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 boom. If there were human crew members inside this T3 Black Iron, they would certainly have heard the rumbling sound from their hull, like an explosion. After a round of bombing by the T2 Bumblebee-class heavy interstellar drones, the originally not-so-large damaged area was suddenly expanded dozens of times. Then an even more astonishing scene appeared. The T2 Killer B-class medium interstellar drones began to dive one by one, crashing into the torn hull armor damage point at an astonishing speed. Streaks of exploding flames flashed and disappeared. These interstellar drones are carrying explosives. Seeing the explosions glow, Shun Bing immediately determined that these interstellar drones were carrying explosives. Explosives combined with the drone's own explosion increased the power even further. 10, 20, 30, 40. Someone would notice that the weapon system on one side of the T3 Black Iron's hull had stopped attacking, indicating a malfunction in its weapon system module. And at this moment, the interstellar drone's suicide attacks had not stopped. After the T2 Killer B-class medium interstellar drones finished their suicide attacks, the T2 Bumblebee-class heavy interstellar drones also dived down, becoming one of those clusters of exploding, fiery light. Lu Lily covered her mouth in surprise. This is Commander Zhao Chen's plan. If the T2 Black Rhino's firepower is insufficient, then the interstellar drones are hidden in the T2 Black Rhino-class interstellar heavy assault frigates compartments in advance. The T2 Black Rhinos carry them to approach the T3 Black Iron, then launch bombings and subsequent suicide attacks. Shimbing's eyes sparkled with excitement. The exploding fireballs and smoke dissipated. The hull armor on one side of the T3 Black Iron directly exposed the cross-section of its internal compartments. From a distance, the damaged part of the hull looked as if a piece of flesh had been cut from a large black fish, revealing its bones. At this moment, the fate of the T3 Black Iron was already clear. Facing the subsequent encirclement by the T2 Black Rhinos, it would ultimately die with regret. It probably never expected that a mighty T3 starship would be ganged up on and destroyed by a group of T2 starships. After that, the reassembled T2 Black Rhinos in cooperation with Uncle's fleet, carried out the final cleanup of the remaining mechanical race interstellar warships. This battle, lasting nearly an hour, finally ended. Commander Zhao Chen sat in the captain's chair, letting out a long breath. Lilith, tally the battle damage, then arrange for the T2 Black Rhinos to patrol the surroundings. Our current situation means we can only wait for reinforcements to arrive, Commander Zhao Chen ordered. Yes. Mission content: escort interstellar transport ship fleet. Mission difficulty: B rank. Mission reward: 20 mission points and 5,000 credits. Additional mission: preserve as many T1 interstellar transport ships as possible, 279 300ths. Mission completed. Rewards can be claimed. Commander Zhao Chen's system notification indicated the mission was completed. Since there was nothing else to do, he might as well claim the mission reward to calm his nerves. Mission rewards claimed: 20 mission points and 5,000 credits. Additional mission: 279 interstellar transport ships saved. Mission completion rate: 93%. Additional mission reward claimed: obtain T2 Lion King class heavy interstellar missile ship technical blueprint. Commander Zhao Chen suddenly jumped up. Interstellar missile ship? A ship type known as the interstellar armory ship. An interstellar missile ship is also known as an interstellar arsenal ship or an interstellar firepower ship. It primarily uses interstellar missiles for attack, as its hull contains a large number of ammunition depots for storing them. Because it's like a powder keg, once hit by an enemy starship, it's extremely dangerous. Therefore, in fleet combat, it requires extremely high protection, just like an aircraft carrier starship. But at the same time, its short-term firepower output capability is almost unmatched by any other ship type. This is because interstellar missiles are long-range and highly accurate interstellar weapons, equipped with their own guidance and lock-on functions. Unless intercepted and destroyed, or the target starship leaves the maximum firing range, it will definitely hit. Most importantly, their launch interval is extremely short. Since no charging or cooling is required, theoretically only the loading time for the interstellar missile is needed, and it generally takes less than 10 seconds for an interstellar missile to be automatically transferred from the ammunition depot to the launch tube. Therefore, an interstellar missile ship can launch all its interstellar missiles in the shortest possible time, creating a saturated firepower strike against an enemy fleet within a short period. This starship is good, it's just... Zhao Chen muttered to himself. This starship has very obvious advantages and equally obvious disadvantages. It's not that it's easily destroyed after being hit. It's that it's too damn expensive. The few T1 and T2 series interstellar missile ships have long been phased out. The number of T3 series interstellar missile ships is also extremely small. The reason is that they are too expensive. Because an interstellar missile ship fully loaded with interstellar missiles, after 3 to 5 saturated firepower strikes, will have fired interstellar missiles whose construction cost is equivalent to the cost of a standard starship of the same class. And these 3 to 5 rounds of attacks, not counting the time to replenish the interstellar missiles, only take less than 10 minutes in total. 10 minutes to expend the construction resources of a starship. Even the Imperial Army would find it difficult to bear such high ammunition expenses. In comparison, ordinary starships might be more cost-effective. Therefore, interstellar missile ships have become very unpopular starships. According to Zhao Chen's understanding, the Starlight Empire currently has only one model of interstellar missile ship still in service, and their numbers are extremely small. Let's look at the detailed information first. Zhao Chen began to read the detailed data of this technical blueprint in his mind. T2 Lion King class heavy interstellar missile ship. Ship type: interstellar missile ship. Technology level: T2. Hull armor strength: 130 units, 150 units. Cruising speed: 25 star knots. Warp engine: level 4 warp engine. Length: 258 meters. Mass: 150,000 tons. Crew capacity: 50 people. Starship weapons: 50 interstellar missile launch tubes, and a full complement of 500 T-2 Lion King-class interstellar missiles. The various attribute data of this T-2 Lion King are relatively conventional, but its loading capacity of 500 interstellar missiles, according to Zhao Chen's understanding, is more than double the maximum loading capacity of the several previously phased-out T-2 interstellar missile ships. It can truly be called a mobile firepower output platform. The attack power of a single T-2 Lion King-class interstellar missile is not inferior to the main gun damage of a T-2 interstellar battlecruiser. Imagine the magnificent scene when 500 T-2 Lion King-class interstellar missiles simultaneously assault an enemy fleet. But when Zhao Chen calculated the cost, a string of numbers with zeros seemed to appear before his eyes. The cost of a T-2 Lion King is not expensive. It only requires 1.5 million star coins, exactly the same as a T-2 Queen B-class heavy carrier starship. This cost includes the first batch of 500 accompanying T-2 Lion King-class interstellar missiles. And the cost of these 500 T-2 Lion King-class interstellar missiles is a full 1,000 star coins per missile. This means that if a T-2 Lion King depletes its interstellar missiles, it's equivalent to having expended nearly 500,000 star coins worth of supplies. Performing 3 rounds of firepower output is equivalent to completely expending a T-2 Lion King. Zhao Chen covered his face. What kind of interstellar warship is this? This is clearly a gold-swallowing behemoth. He finally understood why the Starlight Empire couldn't afford to maintain this starship in large quantities. One must know that Zhao Chen was only calculating the manufacturing cost. If calculated according to the selling price, that would be a number tens of times higher. But based on its performance, my T-2 Lion King is several times more excellent in terms of cost-effectiveness than any T-2 interstellar missile ship recorded. Moreover, I can't support a large fleet in a short time, so this kind of small but refined starship suits me. Zhao Chen showed a thoughtful expression. Moreover, I can't support a large fleet in a short time, so this kind of small but refined starship suits me. Zhao Chen showed a thoughtful expression. If Zhao Chen had even one T-2 Lion King during the previous battle, dealing with a T-3 Black Iron-class medium star destroyer would have been effortless. As for the other T-2 mechanical race interstellar warships, they would be sitting ducks. Without considering interceptions, an average of 10 to 20 T-2 Lion King-class interstellar missiles could disable a T-2 mechanical race interstellar warship. Build it. Zhao Chen steeled his heart. Even if it was a gold-swallowing behemoth, Zhao Chen would build it. Because as Zhao Chen revealed more and more starship technologies, the risk of exposure was gradually increasing. For example, in this battle, Zhao Chen revealed a T-2 carrier starship with star shield technology. He believed this news would surely reach the ears of some interested parties in a short time. Before that, Zhao Chen must have sufficient self-preservation power. The interstellar missile ship would become a trump card in Zhao Chen's hands. I'll build a few when I get back, and pair them with T-2 Black Rhino-class interstellar heavy assault frigates. With shields and spears, it's simply perfect. Zhao Chen was excited. He couldn't wait to take such a fleet into actual combat. Just as Zhao Chen was fantasizing about these good times, Lilith reported something to Zhao Chen. They had taken in a group of crew members from Shunbing's T-2 Hyena. There is a total of 13 female crew members. They sustained minor injuries in the previous battle, but they have all been properly treated, Lilith reported. Shunbing's crew? How come I didn't know about this? Zhao Chen looked at Lilith in surprise. Lilith looked at the commander in confusion. I reported it to you once just now. You just said it. I thought you agreed. Shunbing's T-2 Hyena was severely damaged, and its starship engine also malfunctioned. It looks like it will be difficult for it to sail back, and can only wait for a later interstellar repair ship or be towed back by other starships. Lilith looked at the commander in confusion. I reported it to you once just now. You just said it. I thought you agreed. Shunbing's T-2 Hyena was severely damaged, and its starship engine also malfunctioned. It looks like it will be difficult for it to sail back, and can only wait for a later interstellar repair ship or be towed back by other starships. Zhao Chen was stunned. It seemed that he had been so engrossed in thinking about the T2 Lion King that he hadn't clearly heard Lilith's words. In that case, let's settle them on our starship first. Oh, by the way, why are they all female crew members? Doesn't Shin Bing's starship have any male crew members? Zhao Chen asked subconsciously. Lilith said lightly, those male crew members have all been assigned to Zheng Xiong's starship. This Zheng Xiong is that smoking uncle. As for why this arrangement, Lilith dislikes all males except Zhao Chen. Across the video window, Uncle Zheng Xiong was enthusiastically embracing a young male crew member who was a subordinate of Shin Bing. Little brother, don't you worry. We'll treat these crew members with enthusiasm. Behind a video window, several of Shin Bing's male crew members could be seen standing together, surrounded by Zheng Xiong's starship's male crew members. The aura of the two groups was like a wolf and a lamb, completely out of place. The male crew member being embraced by Uncle Zheng Xiong had a bewildered expression, yet he dared not move. Then thank you, Captain Zheng Xiong, Shin Bing said gratefully. Thank me for what? You two are like family to me, Zheng Xiong, having gone through life and death together. So you're brothers. Zheng Xiong said with a loud laugh. You too? Shin Bing's cheeks flushed, and she was about to explain. The communication ended. Shin Bing stood somewhat reservedly beside Zhao Chen. She looked at Zhao Chen's starship bridge. After she and her female crew members were brought to this aircraft carrier starship, she was invited to Zhao Chen's bridge, looking at the bright, clean, and highly technological bridge before her. It was truly hard to believe this was the bridge of a T2 starship. Compared to her starship's bridge, it was the difference between a single room and a presidential suite. According to the person in charge of that interstellar transport ship fleet, we will wait here for 20 hours for reinforcements to arrive before departing. To prevent any other accidents along the way, Zhao Chen looked at Shin Bing. Shin Bing, at this moment, was staring blankly at her own battered T2 hyena through the screen on Zhao Chen's bridge. Zhao Chen could guess what Shin Bing was thinking. From the looks of it, that T2 hyena was severely damaged. It couldn't be repaired without tens of thousands of star coins and repair fees. Upon completing this mission, Shin Bing could receive a large bounty, but if the bounty was used to treat Shin Bing's grandmother, then the T2 hyena would not be able to be repaired at all. Perhaps sensing that Zhao Chen had noticed her abnormality, Shin Bing looked at Zhao Chen and said nonchalantly, "This time, it's all thanks to you, otherwise all of our starships would have been lost here." Actually, a large part of the reason was luck. That mechanical race's T3 Black Iron-class medium star destroyer didn't enter the battle initially, which gave us a great opportunity. Perhaps in their eyes, the initial 30 T2 interstellar warships were enough to take care of us, and that T3 interstellar warship only needed to hunt from the outside. Who would have thought they'd fall into their own trap? Zhao Chen chuckled. Shin Bing nodded, acknowledging that this was indeed part of the reason. Speaking of which, these mechanical race interstellar warships are truly as taught in academy textbooks, not fearing death. They fought until the very end, giving their all in battle. If it were our fleet, even a professional fleet like the Imperial Army, if losses exceeded 50%, it could affect their fighting spirit, and if losses exceeded 70%, they might choose to flee or even surrender, Shin Bing praised. Zhao Chen nodded, staring at the wreckage of the T2 mechanical race interstellar warships on the screen. He said in a deep voice, "This is the terrifying aspect of intelligent mechanical life. For the programmatic ideals in their minds, they can execute these combat orders at any cost." This might also be why the Galactic Alliance, after contact with the mechanical race, issued a complete ban on all research concerning advanced artificial intelligence technology, strictly controlling any technological field related to artificial intelligence, fearing that what happened with the mechanical race would reoccur within our Galactic Alliance. Shin Bing nodded. This was knowledge taught in the Academy. If not for this restriction, the personnel configuration on interstellar warships could even be smaller. A T2 starship would only need a few people paired with several intelligent robots or intelligent programs to operate. It must be admitted that the efficiency of artificial intelligence far surpasses that of humanity and other interstellar races. To date, only mid-range artificial intelligence programs and related equipment are allowed in the military domain, and only low-end artificial intelligence programs and related equipment are allowed in the civilian sector. All of this is due to the cautionary tale of the mechanical race. All right, let's not talk about such heavy topics. Anyway, we have to wait for the Imperial fleet to arrive. So let's go to our mess hall for a meal first. For the next few days, your crew will have the same meal standards as my crew. Don't be shy, consider it my treat, Zhao Chen invited. Zhao Chen had previously witnessed Shun Bing's valiant command of her starship in battle and admired her even more. If not for Shun Bing's courageous fighting, the interstellar transport ship fleet might have suffered greater losses, and the number of surviving interstellar transport ships might have been less than 90%. At that time, the extra reward the system gave him might not have been the T-2 Lion King-class heavy interstellar missile ship. Of course, Zhao Chen also had a little ulterior motive. Then, if you'll excuse us, Shin Bing said thankfully. Subsequently, Zhao Chen and Shin Bing, along with a dozen or so female crew members under Shin Bing, headed to the starship mess hall. Shin Bing's female crew members looked at the interior space of the starship, which was completely two different levels from their original starship. Spacious, clean, beautiful. It was truly completely different from their gloomy, working environment. And when they walked into the starship mess hall, all of Shin Bing's female crew members were dumbfounded. The air was filled with the aroma of food, which was completely different from artificial nutritional meals. At this time, some crew members of the T-2B Queen-class heavy carrier starship had already rotated in for their meal. Fried rice with egg, noodles, bread, steamed buns, and even a large plate of fish and some fruit. Did I just come to the Academy's high-class restaurant? Lu Lily wiped the drool that was about to flow from the corner of her mouth. Shin Bing also showed a surprised expression. Over there is our serving counter. You can order there, and then service robots will deliver the food to your seats. You have the same meal standard as our regular crew members. Just don't waste food. You can choose individual portions or shared dishes, Zhao Chen explained, while also activating ordering permissions for everyone, just like for regular female soldiers. Individual portions mean everyone orders their own food, such as a bowl of noodles or a plate of fried rice. Shared dishes are mainly when several crew members want to order a hearty dish, but ordering it alone would be over budget or too much to eat. So, several female soldiers would order a hearty dish together and share it. We can order here? Lu Lily swallowed, looking at Zhao Chen in disbelief. Zhao Chen smiled and said, "Of course." After a brief silence, Lu Lily led a group of female crew members rushing over, crowding in front of the counter, looking at the holographic menu. Shin Bing was also looking at these foods. In her eyes, she saw not just the food, but also the value behind the food. Egg fried rice was marked as a 0.1 star coins meal standard, but its price outside would definitely exceed 30 star coins, or even higher. The prices in the starship mess hall were absolutely the cost price of the cost price. She found it hard to believe that the crew members on Zhao Chen's starship could actually eat such food. Could you please move aside? I can't see today's menu. A timid voice came from behind Shin Bing. Shin Bing turned around and looked behind her. Nobody there? When she looked down, she finally found the speaker. It was a little girl whose height only reached her waist, with a round little face and big eyes. She was incredibly cute, especially the way she kept tiptoeing because she was too short to see the counter. It made one's heart melt. However, there were also long-term collar marks on her neck. Why do you have not only female half-beastmen, but also an underage little girl on your starship? Shin Bing looked suspiciously at Zhao Chen beside her, as if looking at some suspicious pervert. Ahem, she's a dwarf. Not underage, she's actually older than us. However, dwarves seem to be naturally more childish in their psychological age. Plus, their small and slender appearance makes them look like children, Zhao Chen explained. Shin Bing carefully observed the little girl in front of her. Her ears were slightly pointed, and her head was a bit large in proportion to her body. It certainly matched the description of the dwarves, an interstellar race in the books. "Go, Commander." "Sir." Annie only then noticed Zhao Chen beside her and immediately saluted him. She first imitated the owl dragon female crew members, placing her hand on her chest, but didn't feel quite right, so she bowed to Zhao Chen instead. Her flustered appearance made Zhao Chen find her quite adorable. "You can't see, let me help you." Zhao Chen placed his hands under Annie's arms and easily lifted the little dwarf. Annie's cheeks flushed slightly, and she kept saying, "No, no need. Annie, can order later when there are fewer people. You've seen it now, so hurry up and order," Zhao Chen chuckled. Annie looked at the holographic projection of today's menu on the counter and quickly ordered a braised chicken set meal. Only then did Zhao Chen put the little dwarf down. "Thank you, Commander." "Sir." Annie kept bowing in thanks, her head bobbing like a rattle drum. Annie only left after Zhao Chen told her to find a seat and wait for her meal. Otherwise, her head would probably have shaken off. Annie found a corner seat, then skillfully adjusted the seat height to its lowest, sat down, and then raised the seat height to a suitable level for the dining table. She began to swing her short legs, waiting for the happiest time of the day. Shen Bing and Zhao Chen stared at the little one for a while before coming back to their senses. They exchanged glances, understanding each other without words. "How did you find this dwarf?" "I saw the one on her neck," Shen Bing asked. "I bought her on the commodity trading network in the northern third star system before. It was that runaway woman who kidnapped and sold her from a planet." "I bought her," Zhao Chen said. Shen Bing looked at Zhao Chen, then at the lavish daily menu. "Why do you set such high meal standards? Even if you procure these natural ingredients in bulk at low prices and process them yourself, the consumables for the personnel on just this one aircraft carrier starship exceed 1,000 star coins a month. This is already far beyond the meal standards of 99% of starships." Zhao Chen shrugged and said nonchalantly, "I'm just giving my crew better living conditions so they can fight for me more diligently." Shen Bing looked surprised. Did he really not care about this kind of expense? His way of thinking was truly out of place in this era. "Are you done ordering? Then let's go over there and wait for our meal." Zhao Chen invited Shen Bing to a dining table to wait. "What are your plans after graduating from North Star Starship Military Academy? Joining the Imperial Army?" Zhao Chen chatted idly. Generally, 80% of the talents cultivated by Starship military academies join the Imperial Army to gain experience, and after retirement, they join various local lord fleets. They basically belong to a social class that doesn't have to worry about food or clothing, but whether they become rich and powerful depends on their own fate. "I will never join the Imperial Army," Shen Bing said. Zhao Chen was a little surprised, but quickly thought of the reason. "Is it because of your parents?" Shen Bing remained silent. "Would you be willing to talk to me about your parents?" Zhao Chen tentatively asked. Shen Bing remained silent. Seeing this, Zhao Chen didn't press. "Since you're unwilling to join the Imperial Army, have you considered joining my fleet? Are you inviting me?" Shen Bing looked at Zhao Chen with some surprise. Zhao Chen spread his hands and smiled, saying, "As you can see, my fleet's strength and benefits. As long as you're willing, you can start directly as an executive officer, starship adjutant, or other positions. If your original starship crew members are qualified, they can also join my fleet and enjoy the same benefits. Of course, this is limited to female crew members. Don't ask why." Shen Bing chuckled and shook her head. "If you want to recruit them, you don't need to go through me. Just tell them directly, and 9 out of 10 will follow you." Saying that, Shen Bing looked at the dining table where her female crew members were. The food had already been served. Each of them seemed like they hadn't eaten in decades, completely disregarding their image as they wolfed down their food. "I value your worth." Zhao Chen pointed at Shen Bing. Shen Bing remained silent. "I'll give you time to consider, but not too long," Zhao Chen said. He valued Shen Bing's talent, but if she was unwilling, Zhao Chen wouldn't force her. After all, he would only remain at the North Star Starship Military Academy until the end of this year. The food was served. Shen Bing's was a plate of dumplings. Shen Bing picked up a dumpling, Looking at its translucent appearance, her expression somewhat complex. She had heard her grandmother mention dumplings. Her grandmother had eaten them once as a child, just 3 dumplings. But it was a taste her grandmother would never forget in her life. She and her sister listened to their grandmother recount these stories by her sickbed, and her sister vowed to let their grandmother and older sister taste that flavor again. If she joined Zhao Chen's Xiaolong fleet, would her grandmother and sister be able to eat this delicious food? Shun Bing's resolve wavered. Shun Bing chewed the dumpling in her mouth. The taste surged on her taste buds. She had never eaten anything so delicious. Half a bowl of dumplings was unknowingly consumed. She looked up at the opposite side. Zhao Chen had left at some point and was looking at his other female crew members. Some were savoring the taste of the food, while others had red and swollen eyes, seemingly having cried. Shun Bing was deep in thought. Zhao Chen returned to the bridge. "Commander, sir, the battle report for this campaign has been compiled." Lilith stood beside Zhao Chen. "Speak," Zhao Chen said. The T-2B Queen-class heavy carrier starship consumed 93% of its ammunition and supplies and lost 68% of its interstellar drones. All T-2 Killer B-class medium interstellar drones and T-2 Bumblebee-class heavy interstellar drones were destroyed, leaving only T-2 Young B-class light interstellar drones. Additionally, one of the 5 T-2 Black Rhino-class interstellar heavy assault frigates suffered severe hull armor damage and needs to return to port for repairs. The remaining 4 suffered damage within acceptable limits, and even without repairs, returning should not be an issue. They can be repaired on our T-2 Iron Hammer-class heavy interstellar industrial ship, which will greatly reduce repair costs. There were no personnel fatalities, though a few were injured, but they have already been treated and accommodated. And we eliminated 1 T-3 mechanical ray starship and 27 T-2 mechanical ray starships, Lilith reported. Zhao Chen looked at the data. Then at the interstellar transport ship fleet he was escorting, a cold glint flashing in his eyes. This escort mission truly gave me a huge surprise. We need an explanation. Lilith understood the commander's meaning. There was a problem with this mission. 20 hours later, an Imperial Army starfleet of 30 starships arrived at the location where the interstellar transport ship fleet had sent out a distress call. "Where are those mechanical race interstellar warships mentioned in the distress signal?" An Imperial Army officer with the rank of colonel asked, frowning in the video window. "The starship wreckage outside is them," Zhao Chen said coldly. "You destroyed them?" the colonel asked in surprise. "If not us, then was it your Imperial Army?" Zhao Chen retorted. The colonel heard the hostility in his words. "What do you mean?" "I'd like to ask what you mean. This was clearly an escort mission, so why were there mechanical race interstellar warships ambushing us, and even using a warp interdictor?" "Colonel, this is not a simple escort mission." Zhao Chen stared at him. Uncle Zheng Xiong, who was also in the video communication channel, said with an unfriendly look, "Concealing mission information, this violates the rules for issuing missions." The mechanical race Starfleet's attack was just a coincidence. It's very normal for coincidences to occur in such bounty missions. Besides the normal mission remuneration, we will recover the wreckage of the mechanical race interstellar warships you destroyed at the highest market price. And according to Imperial law, we will give you a bonus for destroying mechanical race interstellar warships, the colonel said without changing his expression. Coincidence? Then tell me, why are the cargo holds of those interstellar transport ships empty? Zhao Chen directly threw out several captured images. The images showed destroyed T-1 interstellar transport ships, and from the wreckage, it could be seen that some T-1 interstellar transport ships' cargo holds were empty, with no trace of any scattered supplies. A cold glint flashed in the colonel's eyes. "Colonel, we're not fools who just stumble around. Since we dare to confront you here, we have a backup plan. We have made a data backup of everything that happened here. If we cannot return safely, then this matter will be exposed. The Imperial Army's credibility will also be greatly damaged. Is this a responsibility that you, an Imperial Army colonel, can bear?" Uncle Zheng Xiong slammed the table and said, I led my fleet to fight desperately here. It turns out this was all a trap, making us escort an interstellar transport ship fleet with no supplies whatsoever. If not for our valiant fight, perhaps we would have been completely annihilated long ago. My fleet also sacrificed 3 T-1 starships and hundreds of brothers who faced life and death with me. We want an explanation. Is that not allowed? As a seasoned veteran, Zhang Xiong had already discussed this with Zhao Chen beforehand. Regarding this bizarre Imperial Army bounty mission, they couldn't just swallow their anger so easily. However, to confront the Imperial Army, they also needed to have some preparations. After a few moments of silence, the colonel looked at the two and said in a deep voice, "I don't have the authority to handle this matter. I will give you a satisfactory answer when we reach the Quicksand City Interstellar Fortress." Destroying these few mercenary fleets in front of him was not difficult for an Imperial Army star fleet, but the trouble lay in the subsequent mess. If it were to damage the Imperial Army's reputation, it would not be worth the loss. Good. I'd like to see what kind of reasonable explanation your Imperial Army can give us. Uncle Zhang Xiong finished speaking, angrily ending the communication. Zhao Chen said indifferently, "We also want to give our crew a reasonable explanation. You are also a captain commander. You should understand that feeling." With that, Zhao Chen also exited the communication. The colonel was not angered by their aggressiveness. This was, in fact, within his expectations. Because this escort mission was indeed not that simple, and the fact that these escort fleets survive an attack by a mechanical ray starfleet was quite surprising to them. Among the destroyed mechanical ray starfleet, there was even a T-3 Black Iron-class medium star destroyer. Contact the person in charge of the interstellar transport ship fleet and have him send me all video records of this battle. Clean up the battlefield in 3 hours. Then we will escort the interstellar transport ship fleet back to Quicksand City. The colonel instructed his subordinate. Yes. With that attitude we just had, will the Imperial Army officer really not do anything to us? Shin Bing asked with some concern, looking at Zhao Chen beside her and Uncle Zhang Xiong on the video window. Uncle Zhang Xiong took a drag from his cigarette. Sister Shin Bing, don't worry about that. The Imperial Army always cares about its reputation, and this escort mission was clearly them being dishonest. Although we don't know what they are planning, if we expose this matter, it will definitely greatly affect the Imperial Army's prestige. At that point, which private fleet would dare to accept Imperial Army missions? And both of us are outstanding students of the North Star Starship Military Academy. If the North Star Starship Military Academy intervenes, it won't be a small matter. Zhao Chen had already made his calculations. Brother Zhao Chen, how much do you think is appropriate for us to ask for this time? Uncle Zhang Xiong showed a cunning expression. Zhao Chen thought for a moment and held up 5 fingers. That's a bit much, but we can try. Uncle Zhang Xiong nodded. Afterward, the Imperial Army Starfleet began to clean up the battlefield, and at a certain distance from the combat zone, they discovered another battlefield trace. That was the direction from which the T-3 Black Iron-class medium star destroyer had previously appeared. There were several starship wrecks there. After confirmation, they belonged to the Leather Jacket Woman's fleet, which had fled the battle earlier. All starships were destroyed, and, judging by the cannon damage on the fleet, they were all heavily damaged and destroyed by that T-3 Black Iron-class medium star destroyer. This news made Zhao Chen and the others feel relieved. Such people never come to a good end. After dealing with these matters, the Imperial Army Starfleet escorted the interstellar transport ship fleet and Zhao Chen's fleet, setting off again for the Quicksand City Interstellar Fortress. This time it was smooth. After 10 days of navigation, they successfully arrived at the Quicksand City Interstellar Fortress. Looking at the Interstellar Fortress before them, it was an interstellar military fortress built on a planet as its base, surrounded by several asteroids and moons that had been transformed into military asteroids and military satellites. Its scope was not as large as the Northern Third Star System, and the number of starships stationed there was not many. But they were all T-2 combat starships and T-3 combat starships. After Zhao Chen's fleet arrived, the military starport provided free basic repairs for Zhao Chen's fleet. On the other side, The lawsuit request from Zhao Chen's fleet was also passed up to his superior by the colonel. This escort fleet actually survived and completely annihilated a mechanical race star fleet. A general-like figure was startled upon hearing this report. He then had his subordinate retrieve information on this battle, as well as the escort fleet's data. A T-2 aircraft carrier starship actually has star shield technology. The general looked at the battle footage with a shocked expression. General, can I handle this matter? Also, please seal these video materials and ensure that everyone who already knows about this matter does not spread it externally. At this moment, a young man serving as the general's adjutant stepped forward and spoke. The general looked at the young man in surprise. Xiao Song, this matter is no small thing. A T-2 aircraft carrier starship possessing T-2 star shield technology. General, this person is related to the Chu family. I'll trouble you, General, the young officer said humbly. The Chu family? The general narrowed his eyes, looking at the young officer. This person had been arranged by the Chu family some time ago, a very young one-star brigadier general, and he had a good relationship with the Chu family. It seemed this T-2 aircraft carrier starship was related to the Chu family. Then he would do the Chu family this favor. All right, do as you say. I'll leave this matter entirely to you, Xiao Song, the general said solemnly. The young officer smiled and said, Thank you, General. I will mention your heroic performance here to Governor General Chu He. Zhao Chen and the others arrived at the Quicksand City Star Fortress. Their starship had only been docked at the military starport for a few hours, when someone came to relay a message stating that the senior officials in charge of Quicksand City wished to meet with them. As representatives of the three fleets, Zhao Chen, Shun Bing, and Uncle Zheng Xiong took a military shuttle within the starport to the meeting location. I didn't expect them to agree to see us so quickly. I thought they'd drag it out for at least 3 to 5 days, said Uncle Zheng Xiong, sitting in his chair with his legs crossed. Shin Bing sat in a corner seat, visibly restrained and nervous. Zhao Chun, however, was very relaxed. He even joked with Uncle Zheng Xiong. Uncle, we're going to meet them like this. Aren't you worried the Imperial Army might just silence us? It'd be the most convenient method. Uncle Zheng Xiong rolled his eyes. Kid, I've been roaming the stars for so many years. Do you think I haven't considered that? Actually, demanding an explanation this time is precisely for that reason. As he spoke, Uncle Zheng Xiong rubbed his fingers together, although it might seem a bit disrespectful to our fallen brothers. But what could be better than providing their families with sufficient compensation? In the Imperial Army, anything that can be settled with money isn't considered a problem. In comparison, silencing us could lead to the scandal of this mission leaking out. That would be the least efficient way to handle things. The Imperial Army officers aren't foolish enough for that. Zhao Chun and Uncle Zheng Xiong exchanged a knowing smile. But kid, those starships of yours are no ordinary vessels. I suspect the Imperial Army side will be very interested in you. Uncle Zheng Xiong suddenly said seriously, lowering his voice as he looked at Zhao Chun. Zhao Chun nodded. I know. Zhao Chun was well aware of this point. The star shield technology of the T-2B Queen-class heavy carrier starship being exposed would inevitably attract outside attention. I can guarantee my fleet brothers won't leak the information for a short while, but the Imperial Interstellar Transport Ship fleet starships were also present at the scene. If they leak it from their side, quite a few people will be paying attention to you. The scent of blood will attract some ruthless predators, Uncle Zheng Xiong said gravely. I'll handle this matter. Thanks for your concern, Uncle. Zhao Chun expressed his gratitude. Spending more time with this uncle, one would realize that while he might seem rough around the edges in his actions, he was also warm-hearted and very loyal. Just then, the vehicle stopped. The doors opened, revealing the elegant facade of a high-end restaurant. Surprisingly, those greeting them at the entrance weren't soldiers or an officer. Instead, it was an officer wearing a single golden star on his shoulder epaulette, smiling at Zhao Chun and the others. Wow, a one-star brigadier general. In all my years roaming the stars, this is the first time I've seen one with actual beans, exclaimed Uncle Zheng Xiong in surprise. As they got out of the vehicle, Uncle Zheng Xiong even straightened his uniform, feigning solemnity. Kid, this is a one-star brigadier general. When we speak later, be careful. Before Uncle Zheng Xiong could finish his reminder, Zhao Chen had already stepped forward. Holy crap, this kid was even bolder than him. Captain, it's been a while. The brigadier general officer greeted Zhao Chen with a smile. You are that. Xiao. Zhao Chen looked at the familiar face before him. You can call me Xiao Song, said the brigadier general officer. Xiao Song. If Uncle Zheng Xiong had a cigarette in his mouth at that moment, it would probably have fallen to the ground. A one-star brigadier general introducing himself, saying you could call him Xiao Song. Zhao Chen naturally wouldn't be so impolite. Even if someone introduced themselves that way, you couldn't actually address them like that. Brigadier General Song, what are you doing here? Weren't you with that Miss Chu Xian? Zhao Chen inquired curiously. That's right. The brigadier general calling himself Xiao Song before them was the one-star brigadier general who had followed that Miss Chu Xian during the previous cosmic insectoid hive incident. Miss was summoned back to the family by the master due to the previous events. She probably won't be able to come out for a while. With the Miss returning to the family, there was no longer a need for me to follow. The master arranged for me to serve here at the Quicksand City Star Fortress, explained Brigadier General Song. Master? Don't underestimate this form of address. The figure behind this master was the governor of the Chu River Star region, that five-star marshal, the old master. I also happened to learn that the captain in charge of this escort mission was you, sir. So, I took the initiative to handle the reception task. Please, follow me inside. Brigadier General Song invited Zhao Chen and the others into the high-end restaurant behind him. Although this was a military starport, the senior officers also needed places for some enjoyment, so such establishments were naturally present. Zhao Chen walked beside Brigadier General Song, while Shin Bing and Uncle Zheng Xiong followed somewhat stiffly behind. Shin Bing watched Zhao Chen chatting casually with the one-star brigadier general as if they were ordinary friends. This surprised her even more. This classmate, who had only known how to bury himself in books for 3 years at the academy, actually knew a one-star brigadier general from the Imperial Army. A one-star brigadier general, after retirement, would undoubtedly be a titled noble. Coupled with the connections established within the Imperial Army, his influence was absolutely incomparable to that of Zhao Chen, a down-and-out baron. Yet here were these two individuals with vastly different statuses, chatting and laughing together. You two, from here, go straight ahead to a private room I've reserved. Please go rest and have a meal first. Mr. Zhao Chen and I have some matters to discuss. Brigadier General Song stopped and said with a smile, looking at Shin Bing and Uncle Zheng Xiong behind him. Although both were smiles, one could clearly feel the difference. The Brigadier General's smile, when facing them, was professional, very cold. All right. You two chat, don't mind us, said Uncle Zheng Xiong, who would rather be farther away from his Brigadier General. If it weren't for needing to settle the matter of the previous escort mission, he'd want to leave right now. Being around a Brigadier General made him feel like he was accompanying a tiger. Shin Bing looked at Zhao Chen, her eyes asking for his opinion. Unconsciously, Zhao Chen had become her main source of support. You two go ahead. We'll join you shortly, Zhao Chen said. Shin Bing nodded. Shin Bing and Uncle Zheng Xiong headed down the corridor in the other direction. Mr. Zhao Chen, this way, please. Brigadier General Song invited Zhao Chen down another corridor. With a turn, they arrived at a small private room. Some tea and snacks were already prepared inside, although not as luxurious as those on Zhao Chen's starship. For ordinary people, it was still an unattainable level. Please, Brigadier General Song invited Zhao Chen to take a seat. Zhao Chen sat down, looking at Brigadier General Song opposite him. Brigadier General Song, you specifically sent them away. There must be something important you want to discuss with me. There are 2 minor matters to discuss, Brigadier General Song said, his smile unchanged. As he poured tea for Zhao Chen, he continued, let's talk about the first one first, which is the purpose of your and your companion's visit. Regarding this escort mission you were responsible for. Zhao Chen looked at Brigadier General Song, waiting for him to continue. Actually, this escort mission wasn't just for your interstellar transport fleet. There was a total of 30 interstellar transport ship fleets. So far, only your interstellar transport ship fleet has safely arrived at the Quicksand City Star Fortress, Brigadier General Song said with a smile as he recounted this. But Zhao Chen sensed something amiss in his words. What about the other fleets? Gone. Zhao Chen frowned, looking at Brigadier General Song. What exactly is going on? This escort mission was indeed not as simple as it seemed on the surface, Brigadier General Song admitted up front. Zhao Chen stared at Brigadier General Song. All of this was arranged by you. Brigadier General Song nodded and said, We are executing a military operation to capture several star systems occupied and controlled by the mechanical race. For this purpose, we deliberately fabricated 30 interstellar transport ship fleets as bait to lure out some mechanical race garrisons from these star systems. To make this bait seem real, we specifically issued escort missions, having combat fleets escort them. If the mechanical race were to dispatch a star fleet to intercept each of these 30 fleets, it would require mobilizing at least 900 interstellar warships, equivalent to 3 standard configured Legion-class star fleets. By deliberately luring these mechanical starships to attack, we create a shortage of troops in their rear star systems, allowing our main fleet to launch an offensive. At this point, Brigadier General Song checked the time. The battle should still be ongoing now. Are you so sure the mechanical race would take the bait? Zhao Chen asked with a frown. Because we released a piece of information. Our Imperial Army will transport a batch of special weapons to the frontline military fortress to prepare for a large-scale combat operation. And after learning this news, the mechanical race will definitely try to intercept our interstellar transport ship fleets. Brigadier General Song took a sip of tea. Brigadier General Song took a sip of tea. Zhao Chen suddenly realized. So, this escort mission of ours was actually a bait mission. Yes, although this is very unfair to those of you carrying out the mission from a war perspective. Sacrificing nearly 1,000 civilian combat starships, not belonging to the Imperial Army, and 10,000 T-1 interstellar transport ships that are about to be decommissioned, in exchange for control of several important strategic star systems from the enemy. And there is also an opportunity to eliminate several Legion-class star fleets of the mechanical race. Furthermore, there are also dedicated Imperial Army fleets to intercept those mechanical race star fleets that attacked our bait. None of them will return. Brigadier General Song looked at Zhao Chen. Emotionally, I deeply apologize for the sacrifice of your fleet and other escort fleets. But as an Imperial Army officer, this is a decision I had to make. I'm sorry. Hearing Brigadier General Song's explanation, Zhao Chen basically understood completely. They were merely pawns played by the Imperial Army. Sacrificing some unnecessary small pawns in exchange for an advantage in a local battlefield is a perfectly normal arrangement for a leader. Of course, for your surviving escort fleet, we will provide 3 times the compensation. At the same time, your damaged starships can be repaired, and if any starships were destroyed in combat, our side can also arrange for corresponding starships as compensation. Brigadier General Song immediately offered a sweetened bullet. Zhao Chen shook his head slightly. My friend's fleet lost 3 starships and hundreds of brothers sacrificed. Zhao Chen leaned forward, placed his hands on the table, and stared at Brigadier General Song. You need to add more money. Brigadier General Song smiled and nodded. Then name your price. 10 times the remuneration and 3 times the bonus for destroying mechanical race starships, repair of damaged starships, compensation with equivalent starships for lost ones, and personnel who sacrificed in this battle must be given the treatment of Imperial Army martyrs. Additionally, Shun Bing and I are from the North Star Starship Military Academy, and part of the reason for this escort mission was to earn assessment credits. I hope Brigadier General Song can arrange this. Zhao Chen laid out his conditions. 10 times the remuneration and 3 times the kill bonus are a bit high, but since you and Miss are friends, I can agree to these conditions. Compensation for damaged and lost starships is not an issue. but the Imperial Army martyr level for sacrifice personnel. As Brigadier General Song spoke, he caught the flicker in Zhao Chen's eyes. He smiled and said, "I've checked. The number of sacrifice personnel isn't many. I think there will also be some casualties in the Imperial Army's attack on the mechanical race-controlled star systems, and I will find a way to include these individuals. As for the assessment credits for North Star Starship Military Academy, that's absolutely no problem. As for the assessment credits for North Star Starship Military Academy, that's absolutely no problem." Zhao Chen picked up the teacup and drank it all. He looked at Brigadier General Song. "You might be an excellent commander, but I prefer soldiers like Miss Chu Xian." With that, Zhao Chen turned to leave the private room. "Wait a moment, Mr. Zhao Chen. I just said there were two matters." Brigadier General Song smiled and called out to Zhao Chen. Zhao Chen stopped. "Regarding your T-2B Queen-class heavy carrier starship, you don't need to worry. I have used my means to block all intelligence information. While it may not be completely airtight, it will hold for a short period. I believe Marshal Chu, he will be very interested in you," Brigadier General Song said. "I believe Marshal Chu, he will be very interested in you," Brigadier General Song said. "Are you done?" Zhao Chen asked without turning his head. "I'm done." Zhao Chen pushed the door open and left. Brigadier General Song remained alone in the room. He used his handheld terminal to open the communication page. The information he had sent earlier had now received a reply. Just 2 words. Received. Zhao Chen walked out of the small private room and followed the path back to the private room where Shun Bing and the others were. Regarding the first matter Brigadier General Song mentioned, although it made him uncomfortable, it was handled appropriately. As for the second matter, Zhao Chen had anticipated it. The other party had seized his handle, but it seemed they didn't intend to directly harm him. Although this left Zhao Chen somewhat passive, the current situation was already the best possible. Zhao Chen had even considered several worst-case scenarios in his mind. The T-2B Queen-class heavy carrier starship and the T-2 Black Rhino-class interstellar heavy assault frigate docked in the starport were always on level 2 alert. Is this the result of insufficient strength? Marshal Chu-hee? The Chu family? Zhao Chen narrowed his eyes, hoping this family wouldn't cross his bottom line. He pushed open the door to the private room. The first thing he saw was Uncle Zheng Xiong wolfing down a table full of delicious food. "Little brother, hurry and sit down and eat. This is too lavish. It's all natural food," Uncle Zheng Xiong exclaimed. Shun Bing, sitting opposite him, was quite calm, as these foods were not as good as the dishes in Zhao Chen's Starship's restaurant. "It's pretty good." Zhao Chen sat down. Zhang Xiong swallowed the food in his mouth, glanced at the closed door, and then asked, "How did the talks go? What were the conditions?" Zhao Chen told Uncle Zheng Xiong and Shun Bing the conditions he had discussed with Brigadier General Song. Suddenly, Uncle Zheng Xiong stood up, frantically wiping the grease from his hands onto his clothes. Then, with a solemn expression, he bowed deeply to Zhao Chen. "Little brother, on behalf of my fallen brothers in the fleet, thank you." "No need to thank me. They deserve it," Zhao Chen said. Uncle Zheng Xiong shook his head. He said earnestly, "Before, when you held up 5 fingers, I thought it was only 5 times the remuneration. I didn't expect that not only did you secure 10 times the remuneration, but you also managed to get my brothers the treatment of Imperial Army martyrs. I thank you, young man, on behalf of those brothers." The treatment for Imperial Army martyrs was not actually very high. For ordinary martyrs, it only guaranteed that their direct relatives could receive a certain amount of artificial nutritional meals for the next 20 years, and the right to use an ordinary house for 20 years. But for ordinary people, this was already quite good treatment. Moreover, it's important to know that not every Imperial Army soldier who sacrificed their life received martyr's treatment. It is rumored that less than 1/10 of the martyr applications from Imperial Army soldiers who sacrificed each year were approved, with the rest being rejected for various reasons, or simply given a one-time severance payment, and nothing more. Therefore, Uncle Zheng Xiong truly did not expect Zhao Chen to be able to secure these martyr slots. It's important to note that in this battle, Zhao Chen's and Shun Bing's fleets suffered no casualties. In other words, this condition was specifically proposed by Zhao Chen for the fallen soldiers of Uncle Zheng Xiong's fleet. Young man, if you have any difficulties in the future, come find me. Although your uncle, don't have much ability, I can fight with my life. Uncle Zheng Xiong said earnestly. Zhao Chen exchanged a few polite words. Afterward, Brigadier General Song did not show up, probably because he had achieved his goal and there was no need for him to appear again. Shortly after, 3 electronic agreements were placed before Zhao Chen, Shun Bing, and Uncle Zheng Xiong. The content merely acknowledged that the escort mission was voluntary and that they were aware of all the details. At the same time, all the compensation funds had arrived. First, for the remuneration part, the escort mission, which was originally 200,000 star coins, was now directly increased to 2 million star coins. In addition, there was a bonus for destroying 31 mechanical race starships. After receiving the bonus, the starship wreckage was implicitly relinquished and would be handled by the Imperial Army. The kill bonus totaled 1.8 million star coins, and with a triple bonus, it amounted to 5.4 million star coins. Zhao Chun and the others divided the mission remuneration. Due to the betrayal of the woman in leather, her share was naturally gone. Of the 2 million star coins, Zhao Chun took the largest share, 60%. Uncle Zheng Xiong took 35%, and Shun Bing took 5%. In fact, Zhao Chun made a concession in dividing the remuneration. Otherwise, based solely on his fleet's performance in the battle, taking 90% would not have been an issue. Both Shin Bing and Uncle Zheng Xiong asked Zhao Chun to take more, but Zhao Chun refused, because he still had the hunting bonus. Aside from the 3 T-2 mechanical race interstellar warships destroyed by Uncle Zheng Xiong, all other mechanical race interstellar warships were destroyed by Zhao Chen's fleet, and Zhao Chun directly took 5.3 million star coins in kill bonuses. Thus, after the distribution, Zhao Chen alone received 6.5 million star coins. Uncle Zheng Xiong received 800,000 star coins. Shin Bing, on the other hand, received 100,000 star coins. Then we'll divide it like this, Zhao Chun said, looking at everyone. Shin Bing and Uncle Zheng Xiong naturally had no objections. They had both gained a great advantage. Zhao Chen transferred this bonus to his account. The amount of this bonus was quite substantial. Even the Zerg mission Zhao Chun took at Arctic Fox Starport before did not yield this much. Of course, this was the result of Zhao Chun offering 10 times the remuneration and triple the kill bonus. Otherwise, it would at most be 1 million star coins, and divided among 3 people, it would probably only be a few 100,000 star coins. Uncle Zheng Xiong scratched his head in embarrassment. You still got the short end of the stick. You should have taken more. It's all right. We've all been through life and death together. Let's leave it at that, Zhao Chun said, patting Uncle Zheng Xiong's shoulder. Zhao Chun chatted with Uncle Zheng Xiong about their respective plans. Since the escort fleet mission was a facade, there was no need for Zhao Chun and the others to escort the interstellar transport ship fleet back. Their mission ended here. Uncle Zheng Xiong stated that he would repair the damaged starships here, receive the compensated starships, and then distribute the severance pay to the families of the fallen crew members. He estimated that he would need to stay at the Quicksand City Interstellar Fortress for more than half a month. Shin Bing stated that she and her crew would also wait for the T-2 Hyena to be repaired, which would take about 3 to 5 days. Although Zhao Chen's starship was also damaged, Zhao Chen only repaired it to a state that ensured warp navigation could function normally, then asked the Imperial Army's maintenance personnel to directly hand over the repair materials to him, which he would take back for repairs himself. Are you in such a hurry to leave? Shin Bing asked, looking at Zhao Chen. Zhao Chen nodded. I have some other matters to attend to and must rush back as soon as possible. At the Xiaolong Fleet's temporary station, the T-2 Iron Hammer-class heavy interstellar industrial ship was still constructing new ships, especially the T-3 Blizzard-class light interstellar battlecruiser. He had to rush back. The journey, originally over a month, was delayed by nearly a week due to this incident. Then, young man, Farewell for now. If anything comes up in the future, feel free to contact me. Uncle Zheng Xiong said warmly. MHM. In a cloud mansion several kilometers above the surface of a planet in the main star system of the Chu River Star region, Chu Xian was lying idly on a lounge chair, watching programs on various Imperial Network entertainment channels. But none of them were interesting. Watching these was not as exhilarating as commanding a fleet to gallop across the star region. Thump, 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 thump. Footsteps came at this moment, and Chu Xian immediately closed her eyes and turned her body to the side. An old man with a white beard walked in. Chu Xian, the old man called out with a smile. Chu Xian didn't make a sound. Chu Xian, I brought your favorite dessert. The old man took out a pastry box and placed it in front of Chu Xian's nose. Chu Xian snorted and turned her head, continuing to pretend to sleep. The old man placed the pastry box aside, then sat down and opened a holographic video screen, deliberately speaking in a loud voice. Oh, I heard that a T2 carrier starship actually has star shield technology. Who are you trying to fool? How could a T2 starship have star shield technology? It's a shame you're a 5-star marshal, Chu Xian said with a pout, her eyes still closed. The old man's lips curled up, revealing a sly expression. I heard this aircraft carrier starship is called the T2 Queen B class heavy carrier starship. I've never heard of this aircraft carrier starship before. Before the old man could finish speaking, Chu Xian immediately jumped up and stared at the video window in front of the old man. She indeed saw that familiar T2 carrier starship. And at the front of that T2 carrier starship, there really was a translucent energy shield, the Star Shield. This T2 carrier starship actually has Star Shield technology. Chu Xian was dumbfounded. This truly overturned their common sense. The old man pointed at the T2 carrier starship in the image. According to the information I've found so far, this starship is called the T2B Queen-class heavy carrier starship. Before it appeared, there was no public information about this starship in the Starlight Empire or even the entire Galactic Alliance. And the owner of this T2 Queen Bee is a person named Zhao Chen. As he spoke, the old man pulled up a personnel file, and the profile picture was exactly Zhao Chen. Zhao Chen is 21 years old, the lord of the Owl Dragon star system, and a baron of the Empire. He is a 4th-year student at the North Star Starship Military Academy, with excellent theoretical grades. Before this, he had no outstanding performance until the last 6 months. At the North Star Starship Military Academy, he assembled a T2 starship named Blizzard Zero using 3 old starships. Its speed can reach 100 knots of stellar speed. Chu Xian interrupted the old man and corrected. The maximum speed exceeds 130 knots of stellar speed. She still remembered the scene where this T2 starship named Blizzard Zero rammed and killed a Level 2 Zerg hive mothership. The old man continued. After that, he brought out this T2 Queen Bee and participated in your incident regarding the Level 2 Cosmic Insectoid Hive. At that time, this T2 Queen Bee did not use Star Shield technology, but its drone combat capabilities were quite excellent, ranking among the top of the same level and type of interstellar drones. Chu Xian nodded and recalled, during the battle with the Zerg, his T2 Queen Bee was under the protection of my fleet, so it didn't use Star Shield technology. Besides these 2 starships, there is another one. The old man brought up a holographic image of a starship, a small black elliptical starship with a large black horn at the front of the bow. This is an interstellar frigate called the T2 Black Rhino-class Interstellar Heavy Assault Frigate. At North Star Academy, it once dueled with a T2 Purple Rose-class medium interstellar battlecruiser. What? An interstellar frigate dueling with an interstellar battlecruiser. Chu Xian was astonished. That's right, and this T2 Black Rhino won decisively. Also, in that battle shown in the video, 5 T2 Black Rhinos cooperated with 1 T2 Queen Bee to destroy a T3 Black Iron-class medium star destroyer of the mechanical race. Additionally, they eliminated 30 T2 mechanical starships. These 6 starships sustained hull damage, but none were lost, the old man said seriously. Chu Xian looked shocked and took a long time to recover. Grandfather, what are you trying to say? Chu Xian looked at the old man in confusion. Her grandfather rarely spent so much time talking about one person, especially a 20-year-old young man. The old man pointed at Zhao Chen's profile picture. This person has secrets, and he has outstanding talent as a starship engineer and scientist. I heard you're also interested in him. Since you don't want to stay here, I'll give you a mission. Get close to him, find a way to extract his secrets. Ideally, make him cooperate with our Chu family. But if you find he might become an enemy of our Chu family, Chu Xian, you understand. The old man's expression was serious, with a hidden ferocity in his eyes. Chu Xian nodded. She knew her grandfather's temper well. Although he acted like an old child in front of her, when it came to important matters, he was decisive and ruthless. After all, he was once a 5-star marshal of the Starlight Empire who ordered the massacre of hundreds of millions of intelligent mechanical life forms in a single star system. It was because of him that the Chu family had achieved its current status. Understand. I'll try to contact this Zhao Chen. Chu Xian nodded, accepting the mission. Compared to reflecting on her mistakes in the Chu family mansion, this mission was acceptable to her. Moreover, she was already curious about this person named Zhao Chen, and now that he owned a T2 carrier starship with Starshield technology, that made her even more curious. I'll arrange an identity for you. You'll go directly to the North Star Starship Military Academy, the old man said. Yes. In early March of Galactic Calendar 3031, Zhao Chen's fleet finally returned to the North Star system, a full 10 days later than the originally scheduled return time. Fortunately, this escort mission ended without any major incidents. When Zhao Chen arrived at the temporary base of the Xiaolong fleet, it had changed significantly compared to when he left. Originally, there were only 5 T2 Black Rhinos, 1 T2 Iron Hammer, and 1 Blizzard Zero. But now the numbers had directly doubled. At the same time, the expansion platforms built by 2 T2 Iron Hammer-class heavy interstellar industrial ships looked like simple space stations from a distance. Small engineering robots were busy working around the hulls under construction in the space environment. Industrial robotic arms, controlled by engineers and extending from the T2 Iron Hammers, were assembling and connecting parts of the hulls. The most eye-catching was naturally the construction platform for the T3 Blizzard-class light interstellar battlecruiser. The expansion area under construction was several times larger than the hull of the T2 Iron Hammer itself. Construction of the T3 Blizzard had started a month ago. The hull's keel was already built, and some important hull modules were being installed, giving a slight glimpse of its shape. On the other side, the T2 Iron Hammer was mass-producing T2 Black Rhinos. In that expansion platform, there were 5 T2 Black Rhinos under construction. Commander. Charlotte's video window popped up. Clearly, she was delighted to see Zhao Chen return safely. She didn't know when she had started to care about this man. How is the base? Zhao Chen asked. Everything is normal at the base. The 20 million star coins worth of raw materials you prepared earlier have been mostly consumed, but they can still meet the construction plan needs for March. So far, completed starships include 1 T2 Iron Hammer, 1 T2 Bronze Eden, and 5 T2 Black Rhinos. Under construction are 1 T3 Blizzard and 5 T2 Black Rhinos. By the end of March, another 5 T2 Black Rhinos will be completed, Charlotte reported. When Zhao Chen left, Charlotte had already been granted permission to know that the T3 starship under construction was named Blizzard. Zhao Chen felt relieved. At this construction speed, completing that quarterly mission by the end of March shouldn't be a problem. The T2 Bronze Eden is finished. Zhao Chen was curious about this T2 Bronze Eden-class starship, which would be his cash cow for future wealth. Yes, and a group of half-beastmen I recruited are already working on the T2 Bronze Eden, Charlotte said. Then I need to go check it out. Zhao Chen immediately arranged his next itinerary, heading to the T2 Bronze Eden-class starship. Zhao Chen specifically called Lilith and the Dwarf Annie to take a shuttle to the T2 Bronze Eden-class starship. On the shuttle, the Dwarf Annie sat constrained in the corner, occasionally glancing at Zhao Chen, who was sitting opposite her. Although they had known each other for over a month, she still felt some awe towards this man. However, because of the good treatment she had received living on the T-2B Queen-class heavy carrier starship during this time, she was not as afraid of him. But she didn't understand why this man was so kind to her. Annie was small and short, ate a lot, and couldn't fight. Could it be that he wanted to eat Annie? A horrifying thought popped into Annie's mind, and for a moment, her hair seemed to stand on end, her small hands tightly clutching the corner of her clothes. She had heard her mother say that among the evil humans, there were some bad people who particularly liked to capture females of other interstellar races. After a period of careful nurturing, they would then eat them. Annie swallowed, her body feeling as if it were in an ice cave. "Are you very afraid of me?" Zhao Chen asked with a smile, looking at Annie. Annie shivered, looking down at her toes. I didn't. Then why don't you dare to look at me?" Zhao Chen asked. Annie was so anxious she couldn't speak. She couldn't hold it in for a moment and said with a sob, Annie doesn't taste good. Annie's meat doesn't taste good. Don't eat Annie." "Eat?" Zhao Chen was stunned, then burst into laughter. Lilith, beside him, also couldn't help but be amused by this little cutie. After laughing, Zhao Chen said seriously, "Don't worry, I don't eat children." Annie breathed a sigh of relief and patted her small chest, but then she mumbled, "Annie isn't a child. Annie is already an adult." Zhao Chen didn't pay attention to Annie's strange thought process. "I heard Lilith say that you have mastered the construction techniques related to T1 and T2 starships. Is that right?" During this time, Zhao Chen had Lilith take care of Annie, and also to inquire about Annie's abilities. On her planet, Annie was already capable of building various small electronic devices before she even reached adulthood. In fact, given enough materials, she could hand-build a T1 class small civilian starship for you. It could be said that as long as she had the blueprints, there was no T1 level technology she didn't know. As for T2 level, Zhao Chen specifically gave her some technical blueprints for the T2 Black Rhino and T2 Queen Bee. After a few hours of familiarization and research, she could fluently articulate the relevant technical knowledge. And for the past month, the task Zhao Chen assigned to Annie was to read various books on T1 and T2 starship technology. The knowledge in these books, which people at North Star Academy's Starship Technology Engineering major would take 3 to 5 years to learn, Annie could fully grasp in a week. This was enough to prove Annie's abilities. She was smarter and more talented than ordinary interstellar dwarfs. Zhao Chen had truly found a treasure this time. He wondered if it was due to the fleet luck bonus. Just a little bit, Annie said softly. "I won't eat you, but I hope you can work for me, build starships for me. Likewise, if you perform well, I will give you even better living conditions than before. I can guarantee your safety, and you can enjoy all kinds of delicious food." Zhao Chen formally promised. Annie didn't refuse on the spot, but hesitated. "I can give you time to consider." Zhao Chen looked at the dwarf. He knew that this dwarf had already been captivated by his sugar-coated bullets. Submission was only a matter of time. At this moment, the shuttle had arrived at a hangar gate of the T2 Bronze Eden. The hangar opened, and the shuttle docked. "Hello, Commander. I am the person in charge of this T2 Bronze Eden." At this moment, a half-beastman female crew member with rabbit ears came out to greet Zhao Chen, clearly nervous, with both ears drooping. "Don't be nervous. I don't eat people. I just came to check on the T2 Bronze Eden," Zhao Chen teased, using Annie's words from earlier. "Please follow me." The rabbit-eared girl walked ahead, leading Zhao Chen and the others through a long corridor. When their eyes suddenly brightened, Zhao Chen and Lilith were both stunned by the scene before them. Their expressions were blank, but their eyes held excitement. However, the accompanying dwarf Annie could only see a fence over 1.6 meters high, perfectly obscuring what was inside. She tried to stand on her tiptoes, but still couldn't see. She was curious about what Commander and Sister Lilith had seen. She tried to jump up. "Hey, Shio." She seemed to catch a glimpse of green. "Hey, Shio." She seemed to see something white. "Hey, Shio." Ow! Annie fell on her bottom, holding her head, tears welling in her eyes. After jumping up, She hadn't noticed and hit her head directly on a protruding part of the railing, then fell on her bottom. She rubbed her head, then her bottom, but she still wouldn't give up. She stepped back several meters, measured the height of the fence, calculated the height, speed, and trajectory. Annie can do it. Annie definitely can. Taking a deep breath, her two short legs started to sprint. When she was about a meter away from the railing, she used all her strength and leaped. At the same time, she raised her hands, staring at the edge of the railing. Hey, Shio! She grabbed it. Annie's hands gripped the edge of the railing. Her small face was flushed red, but she kept pulling, trying to move her body upwards. Go, Annie. Annie can do it. Annie secretly encouraged herself, and with her effort, her right forearm was already on the edge of the railing, and her head was visible above the railing. Annie was overjoyed. She began to try to get her other arm onto the railing as well, applying force little by little. At the same time, her two short legs were constantly pushing against the railing wall for leverage. Finally, Annie's left forearm also rested on the railing. Annie was ecstatic. She was about to see the scenery inside the railing. What kind of scenery could make Commander and Sister Lilith stare blankly for so long? Suddenly, Annie's entire body was pulled back by a force from behind. The edge of the railing, which had been within reach, gradually moved away. Annie's feet landed on the ground again, and when she looked up, it was again the railing edge, much taller than herself. This is very dangerous, you know. Zhao Chen looked at Annie, as if lecturing a child. Annie stared at Zhao Chen, her watery eyes looking as if something might gush out at any second. Let's go over there. There's a passage there that we can walk through to appreciate the entire area's scenery more directly. The rabbit-eared girl pointed to a passage a few meters away. Annie's expression froze. She looked at the railing in front of her, then at the passage just a few meters away. Her emotions were a mix of feelings. Annie, hurry and catch up. Lilith had already walked onto the passage at this point. Seeing Annie, who had a strange expression and hadn't moved, she urged. Okay. Annie quickly ran over. When she stepped onto that passage, her previously aggrieved and complex emotions vanished. This was a transparent glass skywalk, from which the view inside the railing could be clearly seen. Annie stood on the glass skywalk, looking at the scene before her. Her expression was blank, her heart filled with shock and disbelief. This was inside a starship. It was too beautiful. The transparent glass walkway was still 5 or 6 meters above the ground. Below, a vast expanse of farmland could be seen, planted entirely with natural crops, large in size and abundant in quantity. Patch after patch of vegetable crops were a delight to the eyes. Looking further into the distance, an artificial lake could be seen. Within it were farmed fish and seafood of all kinds, and occasionally fish could be seen leaping out of the water. On the other side of the artificial lake was a fruit grove that could provide various kinds of fruit. Further away was a pasture and livestock area. It mainly consisted of pigs, cattle, sheep, chickens, and ducks. This building such a large ecosystem inside a starship. How many resources would it take just to maintain it? And immediately thought of this question. The rabbit-ear girl then explained with a smile. Apart from the construction resources consumed during the initial building of the T2 Bronze Eden and the funds spent on purchasing the first batch of seeds and seedlings, no resources are needed afterward to maintain the operation of this ecological farm. All the necessary nutrients are collected from the cosmic environment by the starship's built-in cosmic element collectors. Of course, energy blocks required for things like starship engine travel still need to be replenished regularly. This is impossible. En's expression was shocked. This completely overturned her previous notions. Moreover, on this starship, the growth cycles of these crops and livestock are greatly shortened, yields are multiplied several times over, and the quality is top grade. Basically, there's a certain share of output every month. A single T2 Bronze Eden can meet the minimum living needs of 1 million people, the rabbit-eared girl said. 1 million people. And swallowed hard. and finally understood why this commander starship could maintain such a luxurious meal standard every day. Even if the crew members were as extravagant and wasteful as possible, just this one T2 Bronze Eden-class starship could easily meet the living needs of tens of thousands of crew members. Although Lilith had long known that such a starship was being built, seeing it all with her own eyes was still shock. Very good. Zhao Chen was satisfied with everything before him. Although he had already seen the relevant information on the blueprints, seeing such a starship presented before his own eyes still brought a sense of awe. He looked up at the sky and sun projected by the hologram. If not told that they were now inside a starship in space, Zhao Chen might have thought he was on a farm on some planet. The monthly output value of a single T2 Bronze Eden can reach 1 million star coins. If I could build 10 or 20 of them, then I could just lie back and earn money every month. Zhao Chen fantasized about this beautiful scene. Due to the food shortage in the overall cosmic environment, the food trade has become a highly profitable industry, second only to the starship arms trade. Those few agricultural planets that produce high-quality natural crops are cash cows for the Empire's nobles and large consortiums. Commander, these are most recently ripened fruits. Please taste them. At this moment, the rabbit-eared girl led Zhao Chen and the others down the transparent glass walkway into the dense fruit grove. She skillfully picked a fruit, washed it, and handed it to Commander Zhao Chen. Zhao Chen took a bite, and his mouth filled with juice. The sweet taste flowed down his throat. Very good. You can pick and eat some yourselves, too. Zhao Chen looked at Lilith and Anne, who were staring at him, and pointed to the ripe fruit grove. With Zhao Chen's permission, Lilith didn't stand on ceremony. She picked a fruit and began to eat, a happy smile spreading across her face, and stared at a very large apple. She swallowed hard and reached out to pick it, standing on tiptoe, and still couldn't reach that fruit. She steeled herself and jumped up. That big apple still hung there safely, as if mocking her. Little one, let big sister help you pick it. The rabbit-eared girl came over and thoughtfully picked the big apple for Anne. I'm not a little one, and fumed, but when she took her first bite of that big apple, a happy smile spread across her face. So sweet. Fruit was also available in the Starship mess hall, but it was much more expensive than regular meals. After all, for the same planning unit area, growing fruit was far less productive and practical than growing crops. Moreover, fruit couldn't fill the stomach, so fruit existed as a product labeled luxury. The crew members of the Xiaolong fleet could only eat 1 or 2 fruits a month. In this way, our Xiaolong fleet starships will no longer need to purchase food from outside. We can be completely self-sufficient, Zhao Chen said with satisfaction. According to the meal standard Zhao Chen had set, it might have been fine for 100 or 200 people before. But now, with the number of soldiers in the Xiaolong fleet rapidly increasing under this meal standard, it was a considerable expense every month. And now, this problem has been completely solved. After touring the T2 Bronze Eden, Zhao Chen and the others returned. And Lilith each carried a large basket of fruit, which Zhao Chen allowed them to take back to share with friends. Anne's protruding little belly was already quite full. And sat in the shuttle, comfortably letting out a burp. This was the first time she had experienced eating fruit until she was full. It was truly luxurious. And what do you think now about staying in my Xiaolong fleet? Zhao Chen looked at Anne and brought up the suggestion again, and didn't answer directly, but she was clearly not as hesitant as the first time. If you're unwilling, I won't force you. But you also know that in our Xiaolong fleet, we follow the principle of getting what you give. Those crew members are the same. They work for me, so they get corresponding meal standards and crew benefits. Your past month in the Xiaolong fleet was a privilege I offered you, but this kind of thing can't go on forever. It would be unfair to the other crew members. If you really don't want to work for me, I can send you away. When Zhao Chen said this, Lilith couldn't help but roll her eyes. Coming to such a wonderful place, only a fool would want to leave. But why did this scene feel so familiar to Lilith? Moreover, if you think the living conditions here are good, you can bring your family and clan members here in the future. As long as they're willing to work for me, I can provide them with the same living conditions and guarantee their safety. Here, no one can hurt you anymore, Zhao Chen said, and bit her lip gently. She looked at the basket of fruit beside her and finally made her choice. First, arrange for Annie to be on the T2 Iron Hammer-class heavy interstellar industrial ship's second vessel, responsible for the construction of the T2 Black Rhino-class interstellar heavy assault frigate. Her future assignments will depend on her capabilities. As for her clansmen, it seems she wants to observe us for a while longer. Let her observe then. Fortunately, we are not in urgent need of skilled technicians right now, Zhao Chen instructed Lilith. Under Zhao Chen's continuous sugar-coated bullets, Annie ultimately chose to work for him. Understood, Lilith noted the matter. Later, Lilith and I will take Blizzard Zero and a T2 Black Rhino back to North Star Academy. Charlotte, you continue to be in charge here, Zhao Chen instructed. Okay, Charlotte replied. Now, Charlotte and Lilith are essentially Zhao Chen's right-hand women. With these two, managing this fleet of less than 30 starships is more than enough. Managing this fleet of less than 30 starships is more than enough. As for why Zhao Chen was so eager to return to North Star Academy, it was, of course, to check the status of his assessment points after completing his mission. That was related to the annual mission, after all. Zhao Chen came from the T2 Queen Bee-class heavy carrier starship to the long-unseen Blizzard Zero, looking at the somewhat old bridge. Zhao Chen was actually a bit unaccustomed to it. Before leaving, he glanced at the T3 Blizzard-class light interstellar battlecruiser still under construction, hoping this T3 starship could enter service as soon as possible. Then his flagship could be this T3 starship. Before setting sail back to North Star Academy, Zhao Chen opened his system interface. Host, Zhao Chen. Profession, top starship engineer. Special attributes, fleet luck bonus, Eye of Insight. Points, 5,720. Mission points, 34. Starship quantity, 19 vessels. Mission, annual mission. Warehouse, T2 Lion King-class heavy interstellar missile ship technical blueprint. T3 Blizzard-class light interstellar battlecruiser technical blueprint. T2 Black Knight-class light interstellar combat mecha technical blueprint. After the system mission rewards from that escort mission, Zhao Chen's system points and mission points both reached an unprecedented peak. The system points also included Starship point income rewarded by the system over the past few months, but it was still in the slow and steady growth stage. The T2 Lion King will be a key firepower output point in the future, but the current task is to complete the quarterly mission before the end of March. So, I won't arrange a construction plan for now. I'll wait until after March. The current mission points and system points are more than enough to exchange for T2 starships, but T3 starships are still a bit difficult. Moreover, building a T3 starship now would require a large investment of resources and raw materials, and the Xiaolong fleet currently cannot support such a large expenditure. Zhao Chen calculated the Xiaolong fleet's next construction plan in his mind. Ultimately, Zhao Chen decided not to exchange for new system starships for now. While completing the current construction plan, a small number of T2 Black Knight-class light interstellar combat mecha could be built. These interstellar combat mecha can be carried on starships and might prove useful at certain times. After pondering these matters, Zhao Chen closed the system interface and contentedly entered the hibernation pod. When he opened his eyes again, he had already arrived at the outer area of North Star Academy. 2 starships began to enter Zhao Chen's designated starport berths. Immediately upon returning, Zhao Chen first contacted Zhao Wanner and Li Wei. But unexpectedly, Zhao Wanner was still unreachable this time. Did that girl get into trouble again? Zhao Chen muttered. However, Li Wei's communication quickly connected. Old Zhao, you're back. I heard you completed a military mission and directly earned 3 times the assessment points for a 4th-year student. In the video window, Li Wei looked at Zhao Chen excitedly. Because a student skipping a grade is not a big secret, everyone would soon know about it. Where's Zhao Wanner? Why can't I reach her? Zhao Chen asked. Your sister. She participated in an interstellar mission organized by the Academy, a joint interstellar mission with Tianyao and Noble Starship Military Academy. It included 4th year, 5th year, and even 6th year students from both academies. Even your sister's senior Su Lan participated. The vice deans of both academies led the team. It is said that those who perform exceptionally well in this Academy interstellar mission will receive a T3 starship as a reward. The top 5 will also receive brand new T2 starships as rewards. Li Wei said enviously. Being rewarded a T3 starship was something even noble scions would envy. After all, a T3 starship costs hundreds of millions of star coins, which even ordinary noble families would find hard to afford. So, this girl went on an Academy starship mission, aiming for that T3 interstellar warship or a new T2 interstellar warship. Her competitive personality was probably stimulated by his sudden rapid growth. Zhao Chen thought to himself. Oh right, there's something my sister. Li Wei hadn't had a chance to say anything yet. A video window popped up on Zhao Chen's side, showing Vice Dean Hong of North Star Academy. Li Wei, Vice Dean Hong, is contacting me. I'll hang up first. Zhao Chen ended the call. Li Wei looked at the closed communication window, feeling helpless. His brother had been extremely busy since half a year ago. They might not even meet once in several months. He had originally wanted to tell him that his sister had arrived and wanted the two of them to meet. After all, his sister was still trying to find out the identity of the person who had traded with her back then. Li Wei was very principled and had kept silent. Actually, he was suffering inside. He really wanted to tell everyone that his brother was the starship designer who developed the popular T-1 Wolf Fleet-class medium interstellar destroyer. Although he didn't know why Zhao Chen wanted to keep a secret, Li Wei still chose to keep Zhao Chen's secret. So, he could only apologize to his sister. Sister, it's not that I don't want to tell you. It's just that Zhao Chen won't let me. At this moment, Zhao Chen, who still didn't know that his business partner, Li Yaqi, had come to North Star Academy to uncover the truth, received a communication from Vice Dean Hong, asking him to come to the Vice Dean's office as soon as possible, naturally about his skipping grades. At this moment, Zhao Chen, who still didn't know that his business partner, Li Yaqi, had come to North Star Academy to uncover the truth, received a communication from Vice Dean Hong, asking him to come to the Vice Dean's office as soon as possible, naturally about his skipping grades. Soon, Zhao Chen arrived at Vice Dean Hong's office. He pressed the electronic doorbell at the entrance. Detected student Zhao Chen, invited guest, please enter. A mechanical female voice came from the side of the door, and then the door opened. Vice Dean Hong sat on the sofa in the office and waved to Zhao Chen as he entered. But as Zhao Chen approached, he noticed that opposite Vice Dean Hong's sofa, there was another person looking at him with a smile. Miss Chu Xian. Long time no see, Captain Zhao Chen. Chu Xian's presence here surprised Zhao Chen, but it was also within reason. Regarding the matter at the Quicksand City Interstellar Fortress, Brigadier General Song said he would keep his secret, but also mentioned Governor General Chu Hidam. The meaning behind those words was already very clear. The Chu family must have taken notice of him. They would definitely send someone to contact him. And now, it seemed this person was Miss Chu, the woman Zhao Chen had met a few times. The surprise was that she came so quickly. Since student Zhao Chen and Miss Chu Xian already know each other, I don't need to introduce you. Please have a seat. Vice Dean Hong smiled as he looked at the two young people. For a student of his academy to be valued by the Chu family was also a source of pride for their North Star Academy. Moreover, the relationship between North Star Academy and the Chu family had always been good. Otherwise, the T-4 Boreas-class heavy interstellar battleship would not have been jointly developed by their various parties. Zhao Chen looked at the sofas on both sides. Vice Dean Hong occupied one, and Chu Xian occupied another. He certainly couldn't sit next to Vice Dean Hong, so he could only choose to sit beside Chu Xian. Do I have thorns? Chu Xian looked at Zhao Chen, who was sitting far away from her, and teased humorously. My status is humble. I dare not disturb Miss Chu. Zhao Chen offered a clumsy excuse. Although you, miss, do not have thorns, the Chu family's reputation is simply too grand. Then Vice Dean, please get straight to business. Just pretend I'm not here. Chu Xian didn't mind Zhao Chen's words and smiled at the Vice Dean. Vice Dean Hong nodded, then looked at Zhao Chen. According to the mission report provided by the Imperial Army, student Zhao Chen performed excellently in this mission and will receive additional assessment credits. Your total credits have exceeded 3 times the 4th-year assessment credits. You will now be arranged for a skip grade. Student Zhao Chen, do you have any objections? Zhao Chen shook his head, no. Vice Dean Hong raised his hand to open an electronic document, modified some information on it, and then said, from now on, you are a student of Class 1, 5th grade. However, if you cannot accumulate enough assessment credits for the 5th grade before the end of the academic year in June, you will be held back. Student Zhao Chen, do you understand? Understood, Zhao Chen replied. Good. Vice Dean Hong's serious expression faded, becoming benevolent. Zhao Chen, you are very outstanding. To receive commendation from the Imperial Army and a recommendation from a 1-star brigadier general shows that your abilities are very strong. As the Vice Dean of the Academy that nurtured you, I am proud of you. I hope you can continue to strive and create your own glory. Thank you for your cultivation, Vice Dean. The student will work hard. Zhao Chen also said in a formal tone. Then let's talk about something else. You know this person, Miss Chu Xian, the eldest daughter of the Chu family. Miss Chu will be studying at our North Star Academy during this period. You will be responsible for receiving her. As soon as Vice Dean Hong finished speaking, Zhao Chen was about to refuse. This also counts as an academic assignment and can earn 30% of the 5th grade assessment credits, Vice Dean Hong said. Zhao Chen immediately smiled, looking humbly at Miss Chu. It is my honor to serve Miss Chu. For the assessment points, he endured it. I have some other matters to attend to, Zhao Chen. You can take Miss Chu Xian on a tour of the academy, Vice Dean Hong said. Yes. Zhao Chen and Chu Xian walked out of Vice Dean Hong's office. It seems you don't welcome me, Chu Xian said, her hands behind her back, smiling at Zhao Chen. Zhao Chen looked at Chu Xian in casual clothes. Her aura was completely different from when she wore an Imperial Army uniform. Now, she looked more like an ordinary beautiful girl. You are Miss Chu. Where you go, who would dare not welcome you? Zhao Chen chuckled. But I don't like this identity, Chu Xian blurted out, her gaze somewhat dim. Zhao Chen looked at Chu Xian and asked in surprise, why? This is a status and position that others dream of. I know this is a life others dream of. Perhaps in your eyes, I am ungrateful for my good fortune. But the Chu family's identity has indeed given me many restrictions. For example, my mission in the cosmic insectoid hive this time, I believe I only did what a soldier should do, but in the end, my grandfather still directly brought me back to the family. Just because in their eyes, I was taking risks. Chu Xian shrugged, speaking helplessly. At this moment, Zhao Chen and Chu Xian happened to walk under a transparent dome within the academy that overlooked the outside universe, where some starships could be seen traveling in space. Chu Xian stopped, looking at the starships, and whispered, my dream is actually very simple, to become an excellent Imperial Army officer like my parents, commanding my star fleet to fight for the people in the star system and protect our interstellar territory. But because of my current identity, I can't even achieve this request. From this perspective, your grandfather is indeed too strict with you, Zhao Chen mumbled. Right. My grandfather seems so afraid that something will happen to me, and he even arranged that 1-star brigadier General Xiao Song to monitor me. It's so annoying. Chu Xian couldn't help but complain. But then she mumbled, actually, I can also understand what my grandfather is thinking. He's worried I'll follow in my parents' footsteps. A piece of information that Lilith had mentioned to him flashed through Zhao Chen's mind. Chu Xian's parents were both Imperial Army soldiers, but during a military operation, the Starfleet they commanded was annihilated by the mechanical race's Starfleet, with no survivors. It was also after that battle that Governor General Chu, he personally led tens of thousands of Starfleet on an expedition across dozens of star systems, only retreating after completely annihilating the mechanical race's Starfleet that participated in the encirclement of his son and daughter-in-law's fleet. During this period, for any mechanical race-controlled star systems they passed through that had intelligent mechanical life, Governor General Chu, he ordered all starships to conduct orbital bombardments, leaving no stone unturned. If it weren't for them being intelligent mechanical life, his actions would probably have long been labeled by his own people as a butcher who indiscriminately slaughtered the innocent. Even so, a portion of the Starlight Empire's population was still very disgusted by Governor General Chu's actions. After all, such behavior was very radical. There were also groups of idealists who believed in peace talks with the mechanical race, arguing that Governor General Chu's actions were a massacre of life, an act of butchery, and that he should be court-martialed. Of course, because this small group had little influence, it naturally didn't have a significant impact on Governor General Chu's status. It was because of this incident that Governor General Chu, he was extremely doting on his granddaughter, unwilling for her to be in any danger. He was even more unwilling for her to become a true Imperial Army soldier. Previously, she had to secretly run to her maternal grandfather's North Wind Star sector to experience being an Imperial Army officer. Chu Xian chatted a lot with Zhao Chen, mostly Chu Xian talking and Zhao Chen responding. To be honest, if it weren't for Chu Xian's background, Zhao Chen would quite admire her. After talking for so long, I think you've probably guessed the purpose of my visit. I don't like beating around the bush. Chu Xian suddenly stopped and looked directly at Zhao Chen. My grandfather has reviewed your relevant information, including the Blizzard Zero, T2 Black Rhino-class Interstellar Heavy Assault Frigate, and T2B Queen-class Heavy Carrier Starship in your possession. My grandfather's intention is, are you willing to cooperate with our Chu family? Zhao Chen smiled at Chu Xian. Are you just laying all your cards on the table like this? Because I feel you're a good person, suitable to be a friend, Chu Xian admitted frankly. Zhao Chen then asked, what if I refuse? Chu Xian rubbed her chin, pondering. If you refuse, my grandfather will probably send people to conduct a thorough investigation on you. If it's discovered that you're opposing our Chu family or have close ties with our Chu family's enemies, then there will only be one outcome. Saying that, Chu Xian made a slicing motion across her neck. Zhao Chen nodded. He had long anticipated such a method of disposal. It was a common practice after all. I hope you can cooperate with our Chu family. I don't want a friend I admire to die at the hands of my family. Chu Xian looked at Zhao Chen sincerely and said, you have a talent in starship research and manufacturing. Our Chu family can provide you with the best resources in this area. You are currently the Lord of the Owl Dragon Star system, and we have also investigated the situation of the Owl Dragon Star system. If you are willing, we can use the Chu family's connections to arrange a new fee for you. Of course, if you don't want to change, we can also provide significant resource assistance to the Owl Dragon Star system. Although there is no Stargate, it will at least not become an impoverished star system. You currently hold the title of Baron, and in the future, you can at least be a Viscount. Title inheritance is not an issue. Chu Xian suddenly threw out a pile of sugar-coated cannonballs. If it were anyone else, they would probably choose to join the Chu family immediately. But Zhao Chen knew that his secrets meant he couldn't wholeheartedly pledge allegiance to any faction. In the future, he would bring out T4 starship technology and even T5 starship technology. At that time, how would the people he served deal with him? Zhao Chen had seen plenty of films and TV shows about meritorious subjects overshadowing their lords and ultimately meeting a tragic end. However, tearing up with the Chu family now was also impossible, and he had already revealed the T2B Queen-class Heavy Carrier Starship technology, which possessed Starshield technology. Although generally speaking, T2 Starship technology still couldn't catch the Chu family's eye. Otherwise, it wouldn't be Chu Xian meeting Zhao Chen here today. Instead, he would be escorted to the Chu family mansion to meet the Chu family's Governor General. I need some time to consider, Zhao Chen said with a smile. He needed to manage his relationship with the Chu family appropriately, not too close, but not outright refusing either. Because the Chu family could also become Zhao Chen's shield and protective charm. It just depended on how Zhao Chen used them. Understand. I can buy you some time. But it can't be too long, Chu Xian said. After a discussion, Zhao Chen escorted Chu Xian back to her residence at North Star Academy, while he himself returned to Blizzard Zero. In the captain's bedroom, Zhao Chen lay on the bed. He first opened his student page. Student, Zhao Chen. Gender, male. Race, human. Age, 21 years old. Identity, Lord of the North Wind Star Sector's Owl Dragon Star System, barren title. Grade, 5th year. Department, Captain Department. Class, 5th year Class 1. The arrangement of 5th year Class 1 surprised Zhao Chen a bit, because 5th year Class 1 was the most outstanding class among the 5th year students. After graduating, students who studied there could at least live a prosperous life, if not achieve great success. Moreover, the vast majority of them were already descendants of nobles. And coincidentally, Zhao Wan'er and Xue Xiaoxiao were both in this class. Thus, Zhao Chen, the older brother, was now in the same class as his younger sister. Now that I'm in the 5th year, the next step is to find a way to accumulate enough assessment credits for the 5th year before the end of June. This time, I don't need triple the credits, just enough to successfully advance to the 6th year. After the school starts in October, I'll use 3 months to accumulate triple the credits for the 6th year and graduate early. Zhao Chen began to plan his annual schedule. Theoretically, there shouldn't be any major problems. However, accumulating triple the credits for the 6th year was no simple task. Tasks of the same level as the previous escort mission could at most ensure a smooth graduation within that 6th year. Also, how to deal with the relationship with the Chu family. Zhao Chen scratched his head. There were really so many things. Sis, I told you. Stop looking. He doesn't want to reveal his identity. So please don't force him, okay? A forced melon isn't sweet. Li Wei looked helplessly at his sister opposite him. Li Yaqi stared at Li Wei. You're really not going to tell me who this person is? Don't forget, I'm your sister. Wait, that trick won't work on me. If you dare to make things difficult for me on this issue, I'll tell him. Let's see if he's willing to meet you then. Li Wei chuckled. It must be said that Li Wei's words hit Li Yaqi's weak spot. She wouldn't dare offend that person. After all, her Northern Goose Starship Technology Group was developing thanks to his technology. Even if you don't tell me, I can find it myself. North Star Academy isn't that big. I refuse to believe it. Li Yaqi snorted coldly, raising her hand to bring up files on North Star Academy's active mentors and professors. She checked them one by one. Li Wei looked at his sister like this, covering his face and saying, Sis, is it really necessary? He just gave you a best-selling T1 Starship technology, didn't he? Li Yaqi ignored her younger brother. What he gave her was not just one T1 Starship technology, but a total of 4 Starship technologies, including one T2 Starship technology. Now she had expanded the Starship factory of the Northern Goose Starship Technology Group, and these 4 Starship technologies would soon be unveiled. She could guarantee that these 4 Starship technologies would definitely propel her Northern Goose Starship Technology Group to its peak. Oh, right? Didn't you say you had a good friend named Zhao Chen at North Star Academy? You said he took good care of you at the academy. And if it weren't for his help, you might not have been able to successfully complete your annual assessment credits for the past 3 years. Since I'm here this time, let's set a time, and I'll treat him to a meal to thank him for taking care of you at the academy all these years, Li Yaqi said. Li Wei's body stiffened. Could his sister have found out that person was Zhao Chen so quickly? What? Is there a problem? I heard he just returned to the academy today. So he should be free, right? Li Yaqi noticed her brother seemed a bit off and inquired. She was looking for Zhao Chen partly to thank him for taking care of her brother and partly to gather some information from someone close to her brother. I'll help you ask, Li Wei said, feigning composure. If he refused directly now, it would definitely make his sister suspicious. Zhao Chen, may you be blessed. In the following days, Zhao Chen stayed in the academy because Chu Xian was by his side. If he left the academy, she would surely become suspicious. Therefore, Zhao Chen did not go to the temporary station of the Xiaolong fleet during this time, only maintaining necessary communication. To Zhao Chen's surprise, Li Wei's sister actually came to North Star Academy and even wanted to invite him to dinner. Zhao Chen could understand a person's curiosity, But he didn't want to expose himself too much for now. He had already revealed enough in front of the Chu family. If on top of that, the technologies he had given to Liaki were all concentrated on him, Zhao Chen, then Zhao Chen couldn't guarantee whether the Chu family would change their thoughts about him. Therefore, Zhao Chen refused Liaki's several invitations on various grounds. In the blink of an eye, Zhao Chen had been in the academy for about 20 days, almost at the end of March. His daily life involved reporting to the class. However, most of the students in Class 1 of Grade 5 had participated in the joint interstellar mission between North Star Academy and Heaven's Glory Academy, so there were actually very few people in the class. The rest of the time, he acted as Miss Chu Xian's companion. Chu Xian often asked about starships, and Zhao Chen didn't hide what he could say. At the same time, through Miss Chu Xian, Zhao Chen could learn many things that he, as an ordinary student or a barren, wouldn't know. The entire Starlight Empire was far from as calm as it appeared on the surface, but those things had nothing to do with Zhao Chen at present. The interaction between Zhao Chen and Chu Xian was a matter of each taking what they needed, and they became more familiar with each other. But those in the academy who didn't know the truth thought this suddenly appeared beautiful girl was Zhao Chen's girlfriend. Look, that Zhao Chen is out shopping with his girlfriend again. I heard Zhao Chen has become a student of Class 1, Grade 5. That's amazing. You know, Jiang Shasha rejected Zhao Chen before. Now he's become a rising star. She must be regretting it deeply. She'll keep it down. That Jiang Shasha is over there. Jiang Shasha, who happened to be passing by, clenched her fists upon hearing the gossip. After the Jiang family moved away from the Owl Dragon star system, they traveled a long distance to settle in another star region of the North Wind star sector, where the Jiang family had prearranged industries, so they integrated quickly. Jiang Shasha also returned to North Star Academy after the semester started. She knew about Zhao Chen's several excellent performances afterward. Every time Zhao Chen showed outstanding ability, it was like a slap at her face, and gossip naturally followed. Especially the recent time when Zhao Chen completed the 4th grade triple assessment credits in just 4 months and skipped a grade to become a student of Class 1, Grade 5. He's just a little better academically. The mess in the Owl Dragon star system is still there. After graduation, he'll still have to obediently serve as a barren, trapped in that broken place for life. Shasha, there's nothing to be sad about. You have a brighter future. Jiang Shasha looked at Zhao Chen's distant back, comforting herself. Among those paying attention to Zhao Chen was Liaki. After Zhao Chen rejected her invitation, Liaki was very surprised. After all, her identity was that of the Northern Goose Starship Technology Group, the current hottest seller of the T-1 Wolf Laos-class medium interstellar destroyer. Even during her visit to North Star Academy, the vice dean, tutors, and professors treated her with great respect. Many students deliberately tried to get closer to Li Wei during this time, partly to show their faces in front of this emerging tech group boss, and partly to possibly get their hands on a T-1 Wolf Laos-class medium interstellar destroyer, which was in such high demand that the queue stretched half a year. On the other hand, this Zhao Chen actually directly refused. Something unusual must be fishy. Liaki began to investigate the information of this student named Zhao Chen. A starship assembled from 3 old starships achieved an astonishing speed of 100 knots and even defeated a T-2 Bald Eagle-class light interstellar cruiser. Later, he even produced a never-before-seen T-2 Black Rhino-class heavy assault frigate and defeated a T-2 Purple Rose-class medium interstellar battlecruiser. Terrifying starship technical capabilities and a starship never known to anyone. All this information made Liaki suspect Zhao Chen, but considering his age, 21 years old, same age as her younger brother, could a student like this develop excellent starship technology? This still made Liaki somewhat unbelieving. So, Liaki began to intensify her research on Zhao Chen, even trying to create opportunities to meet him face to face. But unexpectedly, she saw Miss Chu Xian, the eldest daughter of the Chu family, by Zhao Chen's side. She had once been fortunate to attend a banquet held by the Chu family and had seen Miss Chu from a distance. She didn't expect that a student from North Star Academy, a mere barren, would know the eldest daughter of the Chu family. This made Zhao Chen's identity even more mysterious. Could it be that the Chu family also wants to cooperate with him? But if the Chu family knows his background, they have their own starship technology group. There's no need for them to let my northern goose take advantage. That means the Chu family might not know Zhao Chen's background. So annoying. I really want to rush in front of him and ask directly if he is that person. Liyaki felt she had never been this anxious, even when negotiating business with others. Finally, she decided to find an opportunity to talk with Zhao Chen after Chu Xian left his side. After all, if Zhao Chen really was that man, then her Northern Goose Starship Technology Group would have an unbreakable connection with him. Zhao Chen woke up in the captain's quarters of the Blizzard Zero. He stretched. Although Miss Chu Xian was here during this time, he still enjoyed the leisurely life. Quarterly mission completed. Mission rewards can be claimed. Suddenly, a voice sounded in Zhao Chen's mind. Zhao Chen opened his system interface and checked the system mission. Quarterly mission. Own 5 different models of T2 and above starships, 5/5. Build a star fleet with a fleet size of 30 starships, 30/30. Own a T3 level starship, 1/1. System-produced starship. This meant that the T3 Blizzard, which Zhao Chen had been waiting for, had finally gone into service. He immediately opened his communication interface to contact Charlotte, but the next second, Charlotte's message came in. T3 Blizzard-class light interstellar battlecruiser has been commissioned and will enter a 1-week trial sailing phase. Zhao Chen replied, received. Now, Zhao Chen felt much more relaxed. Having a T3 level starship in hand felt different. Unfortunately, because Chu Xian was here, Zhao Chen couldn't immediately go and see his first T3 level starship. But for now, he could claim the quarterly mission rewards. Quarterly mission rewards claimed. Obtained 30 mission points. Obtained 3,000 system points. Obtained T3 super soldier potion. Obtained a T2 Snow Mastiff class heavy interstellar battleship technical blueprint. Obtained a T3 Andromeda interstellar medical ship technical blueprint. There was actually a T3 level super soldier serum. Zhao Chen naturally wouldn't refuse such a good thing. Without a word, he skillfully injected himself with a dose. Hiss, hiss, hiss. Zhao Chen gasped, and a familiar pain swept over him again. It felt as if the cells in his entire body were being torn apart. His joints popped and cracked, as if someone was setting off firecrackers inside Zhao Chen's body. Thump, 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 thump. Zhao Chen's heart beat faster and faster. If a doctor were monitoring him at this moment, they would be astonished to find that Zhao Chen's heart rate had exceeded a normal person's by several times. Zhao Chen twitched uncontrollably on the bed, his expression ferocious, and even blood flowed from the corners of his mouth. Zhao Chen gripped the edge of the bed. Crunch. That was the sound of the bed edge breaking. Ah! Zhao Chen let out a painful roar, then completely fainted. After an unknown amount of time, when Zhao Chen woke up again, he felt as if he had slept for a century. But his whole body felt incredibly comfortable. He opened his eyes and looked around. The surroundings hadn't changed, but Zhao Chen felt that the world in his eyes seemed different from before. Yet he couldn't pinpoint exactly what was different. He stood up and looked at his body. The surface of his body was basically no different from before. It was still that golden ratio physique, a body full of masculine charm. Zhao Chen raised his hand and summoned a mirror, looking at himself in it. His eyes appeared deeper, and his body seemed to have undergone slight changes, though not visible on the surface. But when Zhao Chen clenched his fist, he had a feeling that his current strength could even smash through the hull armor of a T1 interstellar battleship with one punch. He calmed the fighting desire in his heart. He sat cross-legged on the bed. Perhaps it was due to the super soldier serum, but he felt that many of the things he had thought about before now seemed different to him. First, he quickly drafted a message and sent it to Liyaki, telling her not to investigate him further at North Star Starship Military Academy. or she would face the consequences. The connection with Li Yaqi could not be exposed in Zhao Chen's plan. It didn't matter if the other party knew his identity, but the key was not to let others know that Li Yaqi was connected to him. So, he couldn't have any contact with Li Yaqi in reality. Afterward, he sent a message to Chu Xian. He told her that he had an idea regarding the Chu family's offer to recruit him and suggested meeting to discuss it that evening. I must give the Chu family an answer. Otherwise, this girl Chu Xian following me will always feel a bit awkward, Zhao Chen muttered. The Chu family's attitude towards him was crucial to Zhao Chen's development in the coming period. He had to handle it properly. A slight misstep could lead to an abyss. After sending these two messages, Zhao Chen re-examined the system rewards he had just received. Host, Zhao Chen. Profession, top starship engineer. Special attributes, fleet luck bonus, eye of insight. Points, 8,720. Mission points, 64. Number of starships, 30. Mission, annual mission, unfinished. Warehouse, T2 Lion King class heavy interstellar missile ship blueprint. T2 Snow Mastiff class heavy interstellar battleship blueprint. T2 Black Knight class light interstellar combat mecha blueprint. T3 Andromeda class interstellar medical ship blueprint. The points and mission points were more than enough to exchange for a suitable T3 class interstellar warship. And Zhao Chen already had a plan for the target he wanted to exchange for. He looked at the two blueprints he had just acquired. T2 Snow Mastiff class heavy interstellar battleship and T3 Andromeda class interstellar medical ship. The T2 Snow Mastiff is an interstellar battleship belonging to the main combat series of interstellar warships. Interstellar battleships are interstellar warships equipped with heavy armor and heavy firepower. Their terrifying armor strength, if not considering the size of the hull, is comparable to that of an interstellar frigate's hull armor strength per unit on average. Of course, Zhao Chen's T2 Black Rhino was an exception. Currently, I possess a T2B Queen class heavy carrier starship and a T2 Black Rhino class interstellar heavy assault frigate. The blueprints are for a T2 Lion King class heavy interstellar missile ship and a T2 Snow Mastiff class heavy interstellar battleship. These two starship blueprints can perfectly fill the missing ship types in the Starfleet. One is an important long-range firepower output, and the other is the main starship for charging into battle and directly engaging enemies. With the addition of these two starships, my Starfleet will truly be considered a Starfleet, Zhao Chen muttered. With the addition of these two starships, my Starfleet will truly be considered a Starfleet, Zhao Chen muttered. Generally, a Starfleet needs at least 3 or more ship types to cooperate in combat. Only then can the advantages of Starfleet operations be maximized. Zhao Chen looked at the T3 Andromeda. This is a support starship. Although not a combat starship, it is indispensable on the battlefield. Although Zhao Chen's Starfleet has not yet experienced any casualties, who knows what the future holds? If there are casualties, an interstellar medical ship will definitely be needed for treatment. If every time a soldier is injured, they have to go to the starport for treatment, that would be a considerable expense. Moreover, timely treatment can greatly reduce soldiers' suffering and mortality rates. T2 starships are just a transition. To truly gain a foothold in the Starlight Empire, one must possess a large number of T3 starships, Zhao Chen said in a deep voice. According to what he learned from Chu Xian, the Imperial Army had already begun to implement the idea of phasing out T2 starships in batches and fully equipping the Imperial Army fleet on the front lines with T3 class interstellar warships. This meant that the era of T2 star battleship would soon be completely eliminated from national-level interstellar battlefields. By then, it would be the battlefield of T3 level and T4 level starships. Not only the Starlight Empire, but other interstellar empire forces and civilizations within the Galactic Alliance were also undertaking similar armament plans. He had to quickly cross the threshold into T3 interstellar warships. At this moment, Li Yaqi, who was researching Zhao Chen, received the third communication from that mysterious person. Upon seeing the content of the message, Li Yaqi's expression was a bit panicked. but she quickly calmed down. My actions made that lord uncomfortable. I was too reckless. Liyaki chastised her somewhat impulsive self. Because she had obtained those starship technologies, she was no longer satisfied with just those and wanted deeper cooperation with that gentleman. But she had forgotten that once he decided to stop cooperating with her, she wouldn't even have a place to cry. The initiative in this cooperation had always been in his hands, not hers. I can't investigate any further. Liyaki, you almost crossed the line. Do you understand? Liyaki inwardly cursed her impulsiveness. However, one thing was clear. This person must be at North Star Academy, though exactly who it was remained to be discussed. At this point, Liyaki couldn't help but think of the young man named Zhao Chen. Many factors pointed to this young man. Is it really him? That evening, Chu Xin booked a private room at a restaurant, and Zhao Chen arrived as scheduled. Actually, I really didn't want to talk to you about family matters here, Chu Xin sighed. But alas, my surname is Chu. But as a friend, no matter what decision you make, I will strive for the best outcome for you with my grandfather. I don't want us to become enemies. Zhao Chen could tell that Chu Xian's words were sincere. Through their interactions during this time, he saw that Chu Xian was a woman who admired starships and had strong military beliefs. But at the same time, she carried the responsibility of her family. I also don't want to stand against the Chu family, so Just as Zhao Chen was about to continue, Chu Xian's handheld terminal flashed red. That indicated very important news. Chu Xian apologized to Zhao Chen, then checked the information on her handheld terminal. Upon seeing it, Chu Xian's expression changed drastically. Did something happen? Zhao Chen noticed the look in Chu Xian's eyes. Chu Xian looked at Zhao Chen with a complicated expression. Zhao Chen, if I remember correctly, you have a younger sister named Zhao Wanner, right? Zhao Chen frowned. Yes, what happened to her? Come with me, we'll talk on the way. Chu Xian stood up and rushed out of the restaurant, leading Zhao Chen into a hovercar. Dean's office. Chu Xian entered the destination. What exactly happened? Zhao Chen asked in a deep voice. During this time, he had completely assimilated into the identity of Zhao Chen. He could no longer distinguish whether he was a transmigrator, but that didn't matter. He only knew that Zhao Wanner was his younger sister. The Owl Dragon Star system was his territory, and the Zhao family was his family. That was enough. Before I tell you this, I hope you can remain calm. Chu Xian looked at Zhao Chen worriedly. Zhao Chen nodded. Chu Xian took a deep breath and said seriously, I just received the latest news. Approximately 5 hours ago, a T3 cosmic insectoid hive and 4 T2 cosmic insectoid hives appeared in the Water Lily Star system, located in the Azure Star region of the Western Star Sector. Now the entire star system is in chaos. And unfortunately, the joint interstellar mission organized by North Star Academy and Heaven's Glory Academy this time was in this star system. And an hour ago, the two academies' fleet completely lost contact. Zhao Chen felt like he had been struck by lightning. He immediately said, quickly dispatch reinforcements. I remember there's a Stargate in the Water Lily Star system. Chu Xian shook her head. Unfortunately, the first T3 cosmic insectoid hive appeared around the Stargate in the Water Lily Star system. Almost immediately, the Water Lily Star system Stargate was breached and destroyed. This also means that subsequent Imperial Army reinforcements cannot use the Stargate to quickly support the Water Lily Star system. They can only enter the Water Lily Star system from adjacent star systems, crossing the interstellar frontier space. The Stargate was destroyed. Zhao Chen's expression was somewhat stiff. This news was like adding fuel to the fire. With the Stargate destroyed, the rescue time would take several days. And these few days would be enough for the interstellar insectoids to do many things. But Zhao Chen knew that now was not the time to be anxious. Zhao Chen was silent for a moment. He raised his hand to bring up the star map of the Azure Star region, and while checking the data, he asked, what about the Water Lily Star System's garrison? According to the latest news, the Water Lily Star System's garrison consists of only 300 Lord starships and 100 Imperial Army starships. And it's important to know that the Imperial Army is divided into 3 ranks. The first rank is the small number of Imperial Army protecting the safety of the royal family in the Imperial capital star, equipped with a large number of T3 starships and T4 starships, belonging to the elite of the Imperial Army's elite. The second rank is the Imperial Army on the warfront, with T4 starships and T3 starships as the main fleet, supplemented by a small number of T2 starships. And the third rank is the Imperial Army garrisons in various territories, mainly T2 starships. Often, a core-level fleet of 300 starships would only have fewer than 10 T3 starships. So, the combat power of the Water Lily Star System's Imperial Army garrison. Zhao Chen already understood the unspoken meaning of Chu Xian's words. He clenched his fists, suppressing the anxiety in his heart. Soon, the hover car arrived at the building where the dean's office was located. Let's go to the dean first. The ones trapped this time are elite students from North Star Academy and Heaven's Glory Academy. The two academies will definitely not stand by and do nothing. Perhaps they can think of a rescue method. Chu Xian comforted Zhao Chen. Zhao Chen said nothing, just followed Chu Xian into the dean's office. At this moment, the dean's office, which was originally quite spacious, seemed crowded and narrow. All the vice deans and important mentors and professors were present. In the center, there was a star map of the Azure Star region, along with a series of intelligence reports. Zhao Chen, why are you here? Vice Dean Hong saw Zhao Chen and showed a surprised expression. He knew that Zhao Chen's younger sister was among the students in distress. But normally, even an excellent student like Zhao Chen wouldn't be qualified to attend such a meeting. But when he saw Chu Xian beside Zhao Chen, he said no more. Zhao Chen didn't have a qualification, but Chu Xian did. Moreover, there had been rumors in the academy recently that Chu Xian was Zhao Chen's girlfriend. Although it was unknown if it was true, some rumors were not unfounded. What's more, the Chu family's attitude toward Zhao Chen was indeed ambiguous. Dean Qin, my friend's younger sister, is also in the academy fleet for this interstellar mission. We want to know what the situation is like in the Water Lily Star System now. Chu Xian directly walked past the other vice deans and professors to an elderly dean. This was the first time Zhao Chen had seen the dean of the North Star Starship Military Academy in person, an old man over 100 years old. Don't underestimate this seemingly frail old man. It is said that he served as the chief designer for the research and manufacturing of the T4 Boreas-class heavy interstellar battleship. Among all starship designers in the Starlight Empire, he could definitely rank among the top 5, a national treasure. Dean Qin saw that the visitor was Chu Xian, and he was also familiar with the Chu family, so he explained the current situation. More than 5 hours had passed since the interstellar insectoid invasion. Currently, some contact could still be made with the unfallen areas of the Water Lily Star System, but because the Stargate was destroyed, the fastest Imperial Army support would still take at least 3 days. This was merely the time to cross the interstellar frontier space. In 3 days, no one could guarantee what the Water Lily Star System would become. The Water Lily Star System has nearly 1 billion people. If even 1/10 of them become food for the interstellar insectoids, they can breed more interstellar insectoids in a very short time. So, the Imperial Army will most likely not attack rashly. They will need to mobilize at least several times the number of interstellar insectoid forces from surrounding areas before commencing cleanup work, Dean Qin said in a deep voice. Then during this time, are you just not going to save those trapped students? Zhao Chen stepped forward and questioned. How can we save them? You must know that there are 8 T3 cosmic insectoid hive and 4 T2 cosmic insectoid hives. This means there are at least 5 or more T3 insectoid hive motherships, nearly 100 T2 Zerg hive motherships, and thousands of T1 Zerg hive motherships in the Water Lily Star System right now, a mentor said helplessly. But those are the excellent talents of our academy. If all of them are gone, that would be a huge loss for our North Star Starship Military Academy, a female mentor said heartbrokenly. Who would have thought that in such a star system, 4 cosmic insectoid hives would suddenly appear, and one of them is a T3 cosmic insectoid hive? Vice Dean Hong sighed deeply. Chu Xian bit her red lip, looking at Zhao Chen with a complicated expression. She didn't know how to comfort Zhao Chen now, because from the looks of this situation, the trapped teachers and students from the two academies were basically doomed. Mission triggered. Rescue the trapped teachers and students of North Star Starship Military Academy and Tianyao Noble Starship Military Academy. Mission content. Rescue the trapped students of North Star Starship Military Academy and Tianyao Noble Starship Military Academy. Mission difficulty, B rank. Mission reward, 20 mission points and 6,000 credits. Additional mission, rescue at least 100 teachers and students from the two academies, including Zhao Wan'er, Su Lan, and Xue Xiao. Mission penalty, deduction of 6,000 credits. Mission time limit, 100 hours. The system prompt that suddenly appeared in Zhao Chen's mind made his heart tremble. The system issuing a rescue mission meant that this was not a hopeless rescue. After all, the system wouldn't give an impossible mission. Moreover, this was the first time a system mission had a detailed time limit, 100 hours. Did this mean that within 100 hours, Zhao Wan'er and the others would not be in mortal danger? No, we cannot give up, Zhao Chen said firmly. Right now, for those trapped teachers and students, we are their only hope. If even we abandon them, then who else can they expect to save them? Hearing such indignant words from student Zhao Chen, some of the instructors and professors present were moved, but the expressions on their faces remained helpless. Student, your idea is good, but reality is cruel. I won't hide it from you. Our academy also dispatched a Starfleet to support, but look, this is the latest information we have on the Water Lily star system. This whole area is crawling with bugs, and the last message sent by our trapped students was from this location. Unfortunately, it's right in the center of the area currently controlled by the interstellar insectoids. Even if we really dispatch a large interstellar fleet to rescue them, what a huge price would we have to pay in such haste? An instructor stepped forward and said gravely. Dean Sheen sighed beside him, his aged body sinking into a chair, remaining silent for a long time. For them, it was already a lost cause. From a strategic perspective, dispatching a star fleet without sufficient interstellar fleets would be suicide. Was losing a group of excellent students not enough? Did they want to send more lambs to the slaughter? No one dared to hastily issue such a rescue order. Zhao Chen, you need to calm down. Perhaps when the Imperial Army fleet has assembled and launched a clearing operation against these interstellar insectoids, your sister and the others might still be alive. Chu Xian tried to comfort him, but she didn't quite believe her own words. It's too late. Even if their star fleet hides in a safe place, their combat power can only last for 5 days at most. And for the Imperial Army fleet to fully assemble and launch a full-scale attack, it will probably take 10 days or so. By then, it'll be too late. Zhao Chen retorted. Why are you so stubborn, student? Are you satisfied if more people die trying to save those who can't be saved? An instructor angrily rebuked. The surrounding instructors and professors also shook their heads, helpless and sighing. A tragic atmosphere spread throughout the office. Can you confirm that this is their last known location? Zhao Chen pointed at a marked spot on the holographic star map. Around that spot were numerous dense red dots, all of which were intelligence reports of interstellar insectoids detected in the areas of the Water Lily star system that had not yet fallen. This was their last contact with us an hour ago. The intelligence received was that their Starfleet encountered and was severely attacked by interstellar insectoids, with over 80% of their starships destroyed in the battle, requesting our support. After that, communication was cut off. Interstellar insectoids themselves possess a biological magnetic field. When their density reaches a certain value, they can block signals and even act as a warp scrambler. Based on the situation, if they're still alive, they should be in this vicinity. If I were them, I would choose to land on a planet and use the remaining starship weapon resources to hold out there, waiting for support, Weisstein Hong analyzed. Zhao Chen stared at the star map, standing there like an old monk in meditation. All right, student, we can understand your feelings. Leave this matter to the teachers. You should go out first. An instructor comforted Zhao Chen. I have a way. Zhao Chen suddenly spoke. But the instructors and professors present only thought it was the students' worried nonsense. First, we used the fastest starship to reach the Stargate of the nearest star system to the Water Lily star system, then crossed the interstellar boundary space. After that, we continue to use the warp engine to get as close as possible to this location. Because of the interstellar insectoids, warp travel cannot take us to our destination, so we will directly use normal engines to traverse these bugs and reach the destination directly. Find the stranded teachers and students, bring them all onto the starship, and evacuate immediately. Compared to mobilizing an entire starfleet, a rescue operation with a few, or even just one, Starship is the fastest and most agile. Zhao Chen stated his idea, drawing a line on the star map. The red line passed through the area with the fewest interstellar insectoids, according to the intelligence. Are you joking? Crossing a swarm of bugs with just one starship. Even a T4 level starship wouldn't have that confidence. Not to mention, most T4 level starships are under the control of the Imperial Army, and they wouldn't risk a T4 level starship to save these teachers and students, an instructor retorted. Every T4 level starship is extremely important to the Empire. Although the students of the two academies are the flowers of the Empire, if flowers are gone, they can always be replanted, right? No T4 level starship is needed, just a T3 starship that is fast enough, Zhao Chen said firmly. Too risky. I don't agree with this rescue method. Too idealistic. A slight mishap would be like moths flying into a flame. A fast enough starship, an interstellar cruiser? But how would it break through the swarm? It's unrealistic. Listening to these instructors and professors, who, based on their intuition, deemed Zhao Chen's plan unfeasible and too naive. Zhao Chen frowned. He glanced at everyone present. He knew he couldn't persuade these people, and he also knew that his next actions would be very risky, and the secrets he exposed might put him in a dangerous vortex. But there were some things he had to do. Zhao Chen said seriously. In the interstellar universe, what isn't a risk? If we were unwilling to take risks and only did safe and steady things, then our ancestors would not have left their home planets to embark on interstellar voyages, nor would they have crossed star systems to usher in the interstellar era. If you won't save them, I will save them myself. With that, Zhao Chen angrily turned and walked out of the office. The moment he stepped out of the office, he sent a message to Charlotte, who was far away at the Owl Dragon outpost. Immediately bring the T3 Blizzard-class light interstellar battlecruiser to North Star Academy Starport to pick me up. That's right. Zhao Chen planned to use the T3 Blizzard to execute this rescue mission, because in the rescue plan he had just outlined, the T3 Blizzard was undoubtedly the most suitable. But this would mean Zhao Chen had to take a huge risk. First was the risk of this rescue mission itself, and second was the risk of Zhao Chen exposing that he possessed a T3 level interstellar warship. It was one thing for Zhao Chen to have a T2 starship of unknown origin before, but now Zhao Chen had brought out a T3 starship of unknown origin. This would inevitably attract the attention of outsiders. And since it was during such a massive rescue operation, it would be impossible to keep it hidden. However, just as Zhao Chen had said earlier, some things must be done, even if one knows they are fraught with danger and carry great risk. Zhao Chen jumped into a flying car and entered the starport as the destination. Talp, 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 talp. Footsteps sounded from behind. Chu Xian anxiously chased after Zhao Chen, and before the car started, she squeezed into the vehicle with him. Zhao Chen, you need to calm down. I know you are very worried about your sister's safety, but you also need to consider yourself, don't you? Although the teacher's words were a bit cruel, but this is also a reality, isn't it? Do you want your sister to know that you risked your own life to save her? If that were the case, I believe your sister would definitely not want to see you do this. I will find a way to contact the Imperial Army on my end, and I will have them speed up the assembly of the Imperial Army fleet. I can even form a rapid rescue fleet to provide support and execute the rescue plan you just mentioned. I can also go ask my grandfather to deploy a T-4 starship. Give me some time, okay? The flying car departed according to the destination set by Zhao Chen and headed straight for the starport. Zhao Chen looked at Chu Xian. What we lack right now is time. Perhaps you can do everything you just said, but it would take too much time. My sister and the others cannot afford to wait. But Chu Xian still wanted to try to persuade Zhao Chen. Chu Xian, if you want to help me, then please do one thing for me, Zhao Chen said seriously. Tell me, as long as I can help you, I will definitely do it, Chu Xian said sincerely. Zhao Chen said, please help me convey to your grandfather, Governor General Chu He, that I am willing to cooperate with the Chu family. Now is not the time to talk about cooperation. It's about the current. Just as Chu Xian was speaking, the flying car arrived at its destination. Zhao Chen jumped out of the flying car directly and walked toward the starport berth. Chu Xian followed closely behind. Even if you want to save people, how can you do it with just your 2 T2 starships? Who said I was going to use T2 starships to save people? Zhao Chen stopped and looked at the universe outside through the transparent glass window of the starport corridor. At this moment, a massive interstellar warship had appeared outside the North Star Academy starport, though it had not entered the port and was simply hovering there. Just by hovering there, it resembled a brilliant star. That is, Chu Xian looked in surprise at the interstellar warship painted in blue and white. The ship was about 1 kilometer long, and the entire hull presented a graceful arc, like a sharp sword or an arrow. On the hull, one could also see a main cannon, several secondary cannons, missile launch silos, and other weapon modules. Honestly, the moment Chu Xian saw this interstellar warship, she was stunned by the ship's design. It was truly beautiful. Among all the interstellar warships she had seen, none were more beautiful than this one. It was like a saint. Commander, we are here. A voice called out at this moment. A shuttle had already docked at the rapid entrance of the starport, and Adjutant Lilith was waving continuously at Zhao Chen. This was a shuttle from the T-2B Queen-class heavy carrier starship. Zhao Chen had instructed Lilith early on to pilot a shuttle and wait here. We will discuss everything after I return, Zhao Chen said, then hurriedly ran toward the shuttle and walked straight into the cabin. Quick, let's go. Because it would take a great deal of time for the T-3 Blizzard to dock in the port and then depart again, Zhao Chen did not let the T-3 Blizzard enter, but instead transferred to the shuttle. Is that starship really yours? That's a T-3 starship, right? Just as the shuttle took off, a voice came from behind Zhao Chen. Zhao Chen turned his head sharply, and to his surprise, he saw that Chu Xian was also on the shuttle. Why did you come up here? Zhao Chen asked, surprised. Chu Xian spread her hands. My grandfather told me to keep an eye on you, so naturally I have to follow you. Do you know where I'm going now? Would your grandfather let you come with me to do such a dangerous thing? Zhao Chen retorted. If Governor General Chu He knew, he certainly would not let Chu Xian be this reckless. The danger level this time was far beyond the previous incident with the level 2 cosmic insectoid hive. I'm just following my grandfather's instructions, Chu Xian said. Besides, with me, the eldest miss of the Chu family, following you, it will be much more convenient for you to head to the Water Lily star system later. Otherwise, you would have to wait in line to use the stargates of the star systems you pass through. You said it yourself. Time is the most important thing right now. Zhao Chen covered his face. This young lady was truly crazy. He looked at Chu Xian seriously. Are you sure you want to follow me? You should know that this time I am going to a place occupied by the interstellar insectoids. I cannot guarantee your safety. It's not too late to regret it now. You can fly the shuttle back later. Chu Xian looked at Zhao Chen with a serious expression. I am also serious. The teachers and students in the 2 academies fleet are the future elite of the Empire. As an Imperial Army soldier, it is my duty to protect their safety. Therefore, please let me participate in this rescue mission. I will obey your orders, and at the same time, I will use my abilities to help you as much as possible. Almost forgot, this was a young lady overflowing with a sense of justice. But what Chu Xian said just now was also right. Having her there would indeed save a lot of trouble. Then stay by my side and do not leave my sight. Do you understand? Zhao Chen said sternly. Yes, Commander. Chu Xian stood straight, placed her hand on her chest, and gave Zhao Chen a standard Imperial Army salute. By the way, what is the name of this T-3 starship of yours? Chu Xian pointed at the interstellar warship that their shuttle was currently flying toward. Blizzard-class light interstellar battle cruiser. Look quickly. That seems to be a T-3 starship. This interstellar warship is so beautiful, and I have never seen this model of interstellar warship before. The emblem on that starship is so familiar. I think I've seen it somewhere. At North Star Academy, many people saw the never-before-seen interstellar warship parked in the universe. Jiang Shasha looked at the interstellar warship, and when she saw the all-too-familiar emblem, her expression was quite spectacular. That is the Owl Dragon emblem. How is that possible? How could a poor Owl Dragon star system possess a T-3 level starship? Jiang Shasha raised her head and looked up at the interstellar warship through the Academy sky screen. She was unwilling to believe that this T-3 interstellar warship belonged to that man. Dean, an unidentified T-3 starship has appeared outside our Academy's starport. According to the fleet emblem information on the starship, the database scan result shows it's a fleet emblem from the Owl Dragon star system. An assistant teacher ran into the dean's office, reporting the news nervously. Owl Dragon star system? Isn't that Zhao Chen's territory? Vice Dean Hong exclaimed. Dean Sheen raised his hand and brought up the view outside the Academy's starport, which projected the interstellar warship holographically. What a beautiful starship! The overall streamline is excellent. It can greatly increase the cruising speed with conventional engines. Looking at the hull structure, it should be an interstellar battlecruiser. The teachers and professors present quickly began to analyze the interstellar warship. Everyone, now is not the time to study the starship. This should be student Zhao Chen's starship. Judging by his intention just now, he's probably preparing to pilot this starship to the Water Lily star system to rescue people. Vice Dean Hong said anxiously, even if it's a T-3 starship, what of it? There are a large number of interstellar insectoids there. A mere starship, once it rushes in, will be utterly annihilated. This Zhao Chen has some talent, but he's far too reckless. A mentor snorted coldly. But he is a promising talent after all. This crisis has resulted in heavy losses among the elite students of the two Academy's fleet. We can't just watch another promising talent go to his death, a female mentor said worriedly. Dean Sheen nodded and said, find a way to intercept this starship. As for the rescue of the two Academy's fleet, we will discuss it at length. Yes. Inside the office, the teachers and professors were still discussing solutions for the incident. On the other side, Zhao Chen and the others entered the T-3 Blizzard's hangar via shuttle. Quick, let's go to the bridge. Zhao Chen immediately left the hangar after getting off the shuttle. Although it was his first time on the T-3 Blizzard-class light interstellar battlecruiser, he was already familiar with many areas and functions. Walking out into the corridor from the hangar, Zhao Chen immediately used his authority to summon a maglev elevator. Although the T-3 Blizzard is less than a kilometer long, it's full of twists and turns. Walking from the stern to the bow would take at least 10 minutes. This could significantly delay things at critical moments. Therefore, there are special maglev elevators inside the starship for transit, much like crystal-clear glass elevators. Enter one and state your desired apartment or location, and you are guaranteed to arrive within a minute. What a beautiful interior space. Stepping into the maglev elevator and looking out at the interior of the ship through the transparent glass, Chu Xian was once again amazed by the ship's internal space. It was hard to imagine this was a combat starship. It looked more like a work of art. But when Chu Xian stepped onto the bridge, she was even more shocked. The entire bridge had an oval structure, surrounded by holographic projections of the exterior of the ship, giving one the feeling of being directly in space. The bridge could be seen as having 5 levels, with each bridge department performing its duties to ensure the starship's operation. The captain's position was in the center of the bridge, allowing direct sight of every department. Like the ship's exterior paint, the interior and bridge style were predominantly white and blue, giving a very comfortable feeling. Commander, T3 Blizzard 1 is ready. Please give your orders. Charlotte stood before Zhao Chen. Before coming, Zhao Chen had already transmitted all the details of this mission to her. Although this mission was very risky, as a qualified subordinate, she knew very well that a soldier's duty is to obey orders. You will serve as executive officer and Lilith as adjutant. Immediately plan the route to the Stargate closest to the water lily star system, and then to the outer perimeter of the interstellar insectoid-controlled area within the water lily star system. Zhao Chen walked directly to the captain's position and sat down in the captain's chair. Charlotte and Lilith stood on either side of Zhao Chen. Lilith began her task, quickly planning the optimal route. Charlotte, on the other hand, reported the status of the T3 Blizzard to Zhao Chen. Blizzard 1 has only completed 30% of its sea trials, but all ship systems are operating normally. All crew members are from the original Blizzard 0, along with some half-beastman veterans with many years of crew service history. Starship combat will be no problem. All combat supplies within the starship are abundant, making it fully capable of a major campaign. Because many combat systems and modules of Blizzard 0 were similar to the T3 Blizzard, Charlotte had previously trained a group of reserve crew members on Blizzard 0. Once the T3 Blizzard was commissioned, these crew members could directly board and work. Zhao Chen nodded contentedly. With Charlotte handling these matters, he had much less to worry about. Excellent. Zhao Chen opened the T3 Blizzard's data page. Blizzard-class light interstellar battlecruiser. Ship type, interstellar battlecruiser. Technology level, T3. Hull armor strength, 1,500 units, 1,800 units. Starshield energy value, 13,000 units. Cruising speed, 210 knots star speed. Warp drive, level 6 warp drive. Length, 998 meters. Mass, 300,000 tons. Crew capacity, 200 people. Starship weapons, 1 Blizzard-class heavy clustered laser bow cannon, 4 2,500mm medium electromagnetic cannon main guns, 16 medium pulse laser secondary guns, 72 medium close-in weapon systems, 4 interstellar missile launch silos, 50 Blizzard light interstellar missiles, 50 Blizzard interstellar drones. Special performance, Blizzard Extreme Cruise Mode. Zhao Chen glanced at it, thoroughly satisfied. Although the Blizzard is nominally a light interstellar warship, its equipped weapon modules are comparable to a heavy interstellar warship. Furthermore, the weapon types are very diverse, making it well-suited for comprehensive combat. For example, it was perfectly suited for this solo rescue mission. Most importantly, the T3 Blizzard's Blizzard Extreme Cruise Mode is a special feature of the T3 Blizzard. It can increase the cruising speed by 3 to 5 times when using conventional engines. That speed can even rival current T4 interstellar cruisers. This is also why Zhao Chen was confident in undertaking this rescue mission. Commander, we will spend 35 hours traversing 19 cosmic stargates to reach the Lanteon star system in the Azure Star region. The Lanteon star system is currently the closest star system to the water lily star system. After arriving at the Lanteon star system, we can use warp travel to reach the outer perimeter of the interstellar insectoid-controlled area in the water lily star system within a day and a half. After that, we will use conventional engines to proceed to the last known coordinates of the 2 Academy's fleet. The estimated minimum duration for this voyage is 3 days. Lilith quickly marked the detailed route she had planned on the star map and reported it to Zhao Chen. Zhao Chen glanced at it. The general direction was roughly the same as he had anticipated. 3 days, that's 72 hours. He still had 28 hours before the 100-hour mark. Follow this route, depart. Zhao Chen issued the navigation command. Charlotte and Lilith immediately began to execute the orders. Warp drive route preset, now entering acceleration phase. We'll enter warp travel phase in 10 minutes. All crew members enter deep sea mode within 10 minutes. Repeat, All crew members entered deep-sea mode within 10 minutes. One by one, white, jade-colored hibernation pods emerged on the bridge. A perilous journey thus began. Target the swarm.